I'm Lester Yancey, and this is my Army artillery story.
What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to this episode. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. If you're on YouTube, follow on Apple and Spotify, like, share, and comment. That would help us out a lot if you could comment. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and follow us on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. We are very active in those channels. If you have anybody that you would want to get on the show or you'd like to tell your own story, please hit us up and we'll send you our email to get you on. And with that, let's get into the episode. Lester Yancey, welcome to the show, man.
Yo, what's up, man? What's happening?
Hey, bro, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I know we met over the TikTok, and it's good to get an artillery guy on this.
Yeah.
Thing,
First, I am doing this for the love of the game, brother, because I am very much an artist, and so I usually don't even get up until like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, I appreciate you showing love, then, man.
You good? Yeah, I was excited to be here, like for real, because I was like, let me make sure I do my due diligence and listen to previous episodes, and it's just funny how because I connect a lot of dots. So I'm listening to different episodes. Oh, okay, I can pull this from there, and then especially the last one. Was her name Magni Khalifa?
Yeah, Magda. Yeah.
Magda, and it was just crazy how she was just talking about being a war horse, and I'm like, all right, that's where I was at for my first tour, and then just all those connections, and so once again, you're doing a great job, bro, with these podcast episodes. So
yeah, man, I'm really trying to get the whole story of the war, right? Like I know everybody knows the SEAL team kind of like it's been so bloated with the SEAL teams, and then some of the SF guys. I did have an SF guy on like 3 weeks ago, but he was so great, dude. He's like, no, I gave so much love to the 173rd, and it was good to hear like the actual stories of what the war happened and that's continuing to happen, right? Like
gotcha.
I actually did my research, and the Iran stuff that's going on right now, it's still funded under the global war on terror. So it's good, like a continuation of that. So it's crazy, dude.
It's crazy, bro. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just wild. I'm like, damn, dude, it's like never ending, dude.
It's a lot of it's like the movie Never Ending Story, man.
Yeah.
Bunch of Falcors at the top, just
yeah. If anybody's never seen it's like a big old dog dragon thing.
Yeah, I'm dating my man.
Yeah, dude, it's cool too, man. Like you live in Mexico now, right?
Right. Yep. I moved down here. Want to say beginning of last year. I actually did what's wild about it is I went to a psychedelic retreat for veterans.
Oh, okay.
So it's called I don't know, I can't remember if I sent you or not, but they're called Heroic Hearts.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, it was started by an Army Ranger. I can't remember his name and stuff like that. But they're kind of leading the way in psychedelic retreats for veterans. And so I was supposed to do, it was 2024, I was supposed to do an ayahuasca retreat in Peru. But unfortunately, I got this bipolar diagnosis from the VA. And so they were like, we don't feel comfortable because they haven't done enough studies for, mental health stuff and then the medicine. So I was like, all right, so we'll go ahead and, we still want you to be part of it, but we'll do a psilocybin retreat for you in Mexico. And I'm all like, okay. And they were saying Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And of course, us, United States folks, I didn't know anything about Mexico besides like Mexico City and Cancun or something like that.
And the cartel.
Yeah, and the cartel. Like, freaking, and I'm all like, what, Puerto Vallarta? I was like, I ain't never heard. I'm like, bump it. I'll still go though. And so took a flight, got down here, just instantly, I felt a connection. And that was just like interesting. And so got down here, and they took care of everything. At the time I was I'm still an artist, but I was just living off of my disability. And my cat is in heat, so she'll be part of the show.
You're good, bro.
She is going, dog. But Blessing, come here. But yeah, they paid for it. Like I was, the money was like real tight. So they were like, all right, well, you still got to kind of contribute something. So I was able to contribute like $500, but they paid for the flight, they paid for the lodging, and they took us to the island of Yalapa. So it's like a boat trip from Puerto Vallarta. And 60 Minutes was there. So Anderson Cooper and the whole crew was there. They're doing a whole thing about psychedelic veterans. And so we went through beautiful and just being around other veterans, and it was cool because I know I'm weird. Like I kind of like I like being around veterans, but like it's different because it's so layered. But being around other veterans, it's like we were all there seeking help,
Yeah.
and so it's all that stuff. It just didn't matter.
Yeah.
And so we go through the ceremony. It's psilocybin, the shrooms, pretty much. And my first ceremony was just mind altering, like blowing the whole, like there was a point in the room when during the ceremony, I felt like I was in this white room with Morpheus. And so
Oh shit.
I was, yeah, bro, it was, I was in like a different dimension. And it was like, that's in that room, it broke down everything, like all these laws, all these rules that they, teach us and stuff like that. It's like, it's nothing. And so I came out of it. What's it? I met Anderson. I gave him a copy of my book because I'm all like, because I read Red Leg, and I was all like, well, if J.D. Vance's book could get him to the White House, what can my book? Where can it get me? And so I gave him a copy, and just the ceremony was so beautiful. After I came out of ceremony, I looked across the water, and the light was shining on Puerto Vallarta. And I grew up Christian, and I was like, God, is that the promised land? And so we had another ceremony, and then the third day they did a bufo, so 5-MeO DMT. They wouldn't let me do that, so I got to observe. And but when I got back to it was a beautiful thing about being there is I could sleep. Like I didn't need no medication. I didn't need, because to be on these psychedelics and stuff like that, you can't be on medications.
How do they determine? How do they determine like which ones you can and cannot do?
They're still, what's crazy is like they're trying to figure it out. They're still trying. That's why they're doing these studies.
Yeah.
They're doing these studies. And so what's crazy is like after I moved here, like I got back to the States, and I was living in Atlanta, and I couldn't sleep again. And everything, it was like all the stimulation, everything that was going on. And then I just got to a point where, you know what, I can't, I can't do it. If I'm gonna make it as a person, I gotta get up out the United States. And so I knew
What part of the United States were you at?
Atlanta. So that's where I went to school. So, and I started looking at apartments down here, and I was finding 2-bedroom apartments for less than $1,000 blocks away from the beach. And here I am in Atlanta paying damn near $2,000 for a 1-bedroom within the perimeter of Atlanta.
Yeah. You know what I everything that you've been telling me right now, I've noticed there's like a pattern here, right? Like the city gives anxiety, dude, right? And then also being around veterans, right? Because I'm kind of the same way, but I found out like if it's a veteran around the same mindset, like, hey, I'm not looking to talk about crazy war stories about what we did. We're all just trying to get better, trying to be better for each other. Those are the people you really want to be around. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with when we get out. Like the world it's so fast paced, dude, and it's nothing that you're right. You're not accustomed to, right? You're used to the Iraq War where you're happy to see like, hey, I can flip the light switch on, right? And
Yeah,
Iraq, them dudes can't, and then people are like, oh, we got to keep up with the Joneses. It's crazy, dude, right?
it's crazy. And then so I got to a point where I looked at things and I was like, you know what? I was driving because I was driving for Uber, and I had this aha moment, and I was like, I'm on this hamster wheel of struggle, and I was like, hold on, I can get off the wheel. Like I can literally jump off this wheel. So
Right.
I was like, all right, my lease runs out in November. I got rid of all my stuff. I pretty much got rid of everything. I was throwing stuff away, everything. I literally packed up my dog Thelma in my Toyota Camry, and then I took a cross country road trip across from Atlanta all the way to LA, and I stayed in LA for like a month. And I was in East LA, and it's funny how everything sets everything up. Was in East LA for a month, and then I got up out of there before the LA fires. Came back east, spent a night, and spent New Year's Eve in Joshua Tree. I did a bunch of shrooms, and it was a beautiful thing. Afterwards, I was crying so much coming into the new year because I was just so thankful. And then came back, spent a night in Phoenix. Had got my Harry Potter tattoo for my homegirl, and another homegirl that she was the wife of my old battle, and so I saw her, and so I crossed the border at Nogales. Yeah, I drove all the way down. I drove straight through cartel country, and then I actually got pulled over by the Mexican cops. Had to, pay them a little, a little something, and I felt rich because you can't pay off the police back in the States. So,
Yeah.
so I'm like, all right, we're good. And then it was, bro, that was the most beautiful. Like, if you've never done a cross country road trip, I say like it should be on somebody's list because the country is just so beautiful, and then coming down and just seeing everything.
Yeah.
And I felt like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank Redemption when I made it to Puerto Vallarta. I was like, dog, I'm here. And I made it back down here, did some Airbnb bouncing. And while I was at one Airbnb, the homegirl of my old battle or ex-wife, about a month in, she tried to call me on FaceTime and I missed her call. And she had been struggling with schizophrenia. And so I missed her call, and then I'm all like, I was like, can we FaceTime, tomorrow? I just let myself get busy. And then no, tomorrow never came. I got a text message the day after that from her mom and was all like, hey, she killed herself.
Damn.
And she killed herself like on FaceTime in front of her son. So I was like, damn, that could have been my call. But it was like, it goes into the whole effect of, and at some point you probably want to get an army spouse on here or something, a military spouse, because she was going through a lot, just being by her side, stuff like that. So just it's crazy.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, you're not the only one to tell me about the spouse, getting a spouse on here. I mean, it's gonna be tough for me, right? Because I really don't know how to talk to, like, I say I was never a spouse, but I was for like 2 years. My wife was in, and I wasn't. So, but yeah, I'll consider it, man. It's just but yeah, dude, it's struggling, dude, with all these people with these mental health issues, and I really attribute it to either like social media and then like the city life, dude. Because like when I lived in Alaska, dude, it was awesome too. And then when I moved back to Texas, I moved to a small town. I didn't even move to the city, and it's just like everything's slow paced, dude. I feel like when you have to live in the city, you gotta be like, you gotta go.
It's funny. All my combat brothers, like, especially the closer they were to the front lines, the further out in the sticks that they live back in the States. They be like, bro,
Yeah.
no noise or nothing. What unit were you in Alaska?
I was with an aviation unit 125 ARB.
Okay.
Yeah, but I lived off I always lived off base, dude. So I lived in fuck, what is it? I lived in one of the hills over there. So, and then but like, yeah, dude, fucking, it's crazy, dude. Like moving back to the city and you have to deal with traffic all the time, right? You're in traffic.
It's just too much. It's too much stimulation. So, and it's like
Yeah.
the kind of stuff that they don't talk to you about, like at the VA and stuff like that. So, all right,
Yeah.
get in, kills, get out.
Dude, that's something that's probably something I'll talk to. Like, I have a bunch of mental health people that want to get on the show, and that's probably something I'll bring up is like, hey, the stimulation. That's a good one, dude, because like I feel better when I go hunting a lot. So come November, I'll be out there almost every weekend, and I'm like, dude, I have no phone service. It's just calm, dude. Like, I just love it.
Yeah, I got a master's in social work with a concentration in clinical therapy. I actually interned at the VA in clinical mental health, and that's how I was able to take a lot of those tools and apply them to my own mental health from day to day. So
Yeah.
I felt I was like ahead of the curve a lot of times.
Right. Well, man, yeah, I'm interested to see how you got to this point now where it seems like you're doing really good for yourself. And I know a lot of veterans like yourself, we struggle to get to the zen, right? Like to get to the middle ground. Sometimes we dip back over into the hard parts. So I see you rocking the red shirt for the artillery, right? I don't know if that was something.
Of course, hey, got you. That was all like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna wear my Mexico jersey, but I was like, green on green. I'm like, I don't know, I'll be too.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, so we're so close, but so far. But yeah.
Hey, so how did you go about joining the army, dude?
My life is lit. I know they say it's cliche to say that your life is a movie, but no, my life is a whole movie. That's why my artist name is Forrest Joe. So like Forrest from the movie, and then Joe from the Bible, and I combined the two to talk about my life because it
Right.
was just so a lot of trauma, and for me to do that, I needed to step outside of myself and then talk about it from that angle. But I joined October 12th, 2005, but I didn't graduate from high school. I graduated from high school in 2000, and so I'm third generation. My As far as I know, my grandfather he got drafted into the Korean War. That's legit the forgotten war. Don't nobody talk about Korea,
Yeah, my
but
grandfather was a Korean vet too.
gotcha. Yeah, he was a Korean War vet, and then my dad served during the Cold War, Gulf War era, and then I don't know, like I didn't want like I grew up as an army kid, so we bounced around. We were in Germany, we were in Hood, and I wanted to go the academic route because I was good in school. I was always like I joked that I was I rode the short bus to classes because I was going to this the talented and gifted program, and
Okay, cool.
so I always tested like school was very easy. My parents always emphasized school, stuff like getting an education, and so I went away to the University of Missouri, the state school, but I wasn't prepared for college because I was very when I was 5, my uncle, my mom's youngest baby brother, he got killed in a car accident,
Hmm.
and so I very just that pressure, and then I was very sheltered. And so I knew stuff about the world, but I was not ready for all that freedom. So I got away to school, and I only made it. I crashed out and flunked out after a semester, and
Yeah.
came back home. Got in a relationship with my kid's mom at the time, and my once I came back, I love my parents and stuff like that, but my mom was still trying to put the clamps on me after I got back, and I was like, hold on, mom, I done got this freedom.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't do this. So got my baby mama, I got her pregnant, and so literally 9/11 happened on a Tuesday. I got married the following day on a Wednesday. The next day after that, I got arrested for trying to run from the cops, and then the following week, I got fired from my job, and I got a baby on the way, and we supposed to be moving into a new apartment. And whatever, I had a whole family before then.
Yeah. Where were you at?
I was living in St. Louis, Missouri, so that's where I'm from, born and raised. Or
Okay.
raised, yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you a question. How was it like? Okay, so you moved around a lot because of your dad, right? Your dad was in the
Yeah.
military, so you moved around a lot. And how old were you when you like I
Got
guess I would say like established like a mini life to grow up. Like where did y'all end up?
we ended up back in St. Louis. So
Okay.
I was right around. You see, my dad got out in '93, no '92, because that's back when they were after the Gulf War and they were doing cutbacks. And so my dad had about 15 years or whatever, and so they were giving money to soldiers to get out of the military. They were giving these
Yeah.
packages, and so my dad he kind of later he told me he's like, I kind of wish I would have retired, but took the money. My mom was getting her degree in accounting, and so she was graduating, and she was like, well, her career looked like it was gonna be the one to make the most money.
Hmm.
So she made the decision like we're gonna move back to St. Louis, and that's where we were gonna do our grown up. So that was right around. We did a year when my dad was out. I was about 11, 10, 11, and then we ended up moving back when I was 12.
Okay, so since you said you were born and raised there, like how was it when you're like 12-year-old growing up in St.
It
Louis?
was it was like partially raised because we left. Let me see. We left. I think I was about 4, because my dad had to rejoin the army because he went in like 79, 78, 79.
Yeah.
He did his time frame 76, late 70s. Got out 80. Got married to my mom. Had me in 82, and then just because of life he was like, he ended up having to go right back in. And so yeah. So it's like, I was born there till about 4, moved away, and then came back in when I was 12, so the whole gap.
So from 12 to like when you graduated high school, what was it like?
It was really, I grew up middle class, just kind of that middle class upbringing. I have a younger brother, and we lived pretty much a middle class life. I was very fortunate, and my mom, she was an accountant, so she was figuring that out. My dad, he ended up, after he was trying to bounce around, getting jobs, he ended up working at the Ford plant. So we were good, man. I went to Hazelwood Central High School. They won state my freshman year of high school, and then I was in the marching band, and I was like, I'm an artsy kid, so
Yeah.
I learned how to play like 3 or 4 instruments and stuff like that in this school and stuff like. So I was pretty much a nerd, man.
Yeah. So when you graduated, you say 2000, right? That's when you graduated?
Right.
Okay, and then you said you had you got a girl pregnant, right, or something
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you kind of nervous or anything about that?
Yeah, man, it was. Think back, but yeah, I was very nervous. I took on a lot of responsibility at 19, and but I just knew I couldn't be in my parents' house anymore, and
Yeah.
and so we had the kid, and it was all like, all right, man, and literally the day of night, I was like, damn, dog, the sign was there not to do it. The planes went to the towers, bro. God couldn't get a better sign.
Yeah.
Hey, rest in peace to the people that had to deal with that. But hey, that was God being like, nah, don't do it, or maybe do it or whatever. But the night before or after all that, we literally had a walk. And like, you still want to do this? And I'm like, well, kind of, we already all the way in this Joker. We ain't no turning back. But I mean, there's always a turning back, as I learned
Yeah.
later in life.
So you said from like 01 to 05, you didn't join, right? So
Right, man.
what were you doing?
I was working job, so I was working at the hospital. So
Okay, cool.
fortunately, because after I got fired from my job, you know, literally, I'm like, all right, I got a family to take care of, and so doing odd jobs. But the thing is, I'm not very I don't say it. I'm not one of those manual labor types of guys. Like I tried and this all that stuff. I was like, nah, this ain't this. I'm a nerd, dog. Where where's the instruments at? But yeah, I was working at a job at Barnes Jewish Hospital. I was a lab tech, making like less than $9 an hour, man. But back then it was all right money for a single person, but trying to raise a family. And then right after I had my son, 17 months later, here come my daughter, and I'm like 2 kids back to back.
Damn, dude.
I'm about barely 21 yet. Fortunately, I had an uncle have an uncle that was a urologist, so I ended up having a vasectomy. I was all like, "Oh man,
That's
no,
it.
I'm knocking this thing out right now."
Right.
So just working, and trying to go back to school, but I was like, "Nah." And then my wife, my ex-wife, she got a degree in auto collision repair, so she was working that. But then it was like crazy because they were trying to like pimp her out, so she ended up leaving that job. Like, and then it got too much. We got evicted from our apartment. We were couch surfing for a while, and during that whole time, I applied for the police department because in St. Louis at the time, like if you don't got a high school diploma, it's either you in the streets hustling, selling drugs or something like that, street life, or you
Yeah.
get like a government job. And my cousin, who sold dope, he was not going to let me be in the streets, and I wasn't built for that life. And so I tried to do the police department, and I thought that I was good because my uncle was on the force, my uncle was on the force, and then my old supervisor, because when I was in before I started college, I did an internship at a top accounting firm, Arthur Anderson, which is wild because they were the ones that were cooking the books for Enron. If anybody knows about that story, and but eventually the police didn't work out, and then I found another job eventually at Washington University Medical School, and then I also tried to work at UPS at the same time, and then it was I couldn't do UPS. I was falling asleep on the ride home, and then I ended up getting, bro, it's crazy. And then I ended up getting fired from my other, day job. And then the police thing didn't work out. I had to go back to my old job at the hospital. And then, the police, I got the rejection letter, and then I was devastated. And then my dad was all like, well, son, you think about law enforcement, why don't you look into being an MP? And at first, I was like, when I first flunked out of school, I did go to the recruit stadium, but I was too much of a bitch at the time, dog. For real. I straight up, say it just wasn't where I was at that development. And
you want to say it's because like your mentality wasn't there yet, or what?
Yeah, I just was not, like, once again,
You kind of gave yourself self-anxiety, huh?
Yeah, just because my kind of thing is I was physically abused growing up. Like,
oh, okay.
It was like my dad. It's like this whole thing. He grew up in the he was born in the 50s, so he backwoods, Virginia, and that's how they were disciplined, like by the switch and stuff like that. And so he, did the same thing. Whereas I love him. He passed away 4 years ago, but we made peace with that because it was all right. It's how you were disciplined. That's he ended up disciplining me, but he took it a little too far. But he would only whip, me and my brother when we like messed up in school. But he just took it to, it wasn't no regular spanking, man. He went in, I always joke that my dad, he was the most loving psychopath that like, real, shout out to him. But I was not mentally prepared to do the military. But you know what? Poverty will mentally prepare you for that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, man. So what? Okay, so you did a lot, man. Like, we gotta unpack a lot of stuff here. So you bounced between jobs, right?
Right.
You tried doing the police thing because honestly, I agree with you. Like, if you can't, I feel like even now in society, if you get a government job, city, state, federal, like you're pretty well off,
Right.
But the military kind of gave you cold feet. Maybe it was like the authority thing. What do you think?
It was, I don't know. I just literally think that I just was not. It's like, once again, I think it's a sheltered thing. It's like when you're in this bubble, like the whole world is just like this foreign place, and it's a lot of unknowns and fears and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because with authority, I really had no problem, because when I finally went into the Army, I was like, oh, it's all, I'm home.
Yeah. So what flipped the switch then?
Poverty, like having 2 kids, trying to make and a wife, and then trying to the pressure to provide.
Yeah, that's
really was the thing that broke broke that door down. It's like, and it's just all me. I wasn't getting any help. I was trying to do it myself.
Yeah, what you said right there, man. It's a man will find a way to provide for the family, dude. Like, we'll forget everything that we're going through, right? Mental, physical, and like we got to do what we got to do.
Right.
And that's. I mean, I feel like that's what we're supposed to do, but at the same time, it's tough, dude.
And you're, it's like you're in it. You don't know how to ask for help. You don't have the vocabulary yet to have to ask for help. And then, just during that time, it's like, you was considered to be weak, man. You can't take your family, like
shit. Even now,
yeah. It's like I think too, though. It's like it's so many more opportunities, but at the same time, the pressure is still there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so 2005, man, you joined the Army. Did you think about any other branch, or you were like, nah,
man,
straight Army?
I was for the first thing, smoking, and it's just crazy that had how everything lined up, because my grandpa, he shipped off. His enlistment date was in October.
Yeah.
Literally, my dad's enlistment date was October, and I'm all like, here I go. Like Katrina had just happened, and
it did, dude.
They were taking everybody. I should not. Somebody, when I went to MEPS, when we did the duck walk, somebody should have tapped me on the shoulder and be like, nah, because I have I've got ankle deformities, so it's literally
like they collapse.
Yeah, they collapse, and then I'm slew-footed at the same time. So they used to joke with me in the Army, call me Happy Feet. But I said, but I'm telling you, man, they were taking. It was a crazy time in the army. They were taking everybody.
Well, I mean, 2 wars, right? So they had Iraq and Afghanistan.
Bush put 2 whole wars on the credit card, man. He was all like, "Let's go."
Yeah, and then
Let's go.
Katrina. I think Honduras. There was some shit going on in Haiti or Honduras.
It was everything.
There was a
going
lot
on.
of stuff going on during that time,
Right.
dude. But you know what that showed, man? The true purse of the United States military, man. That's really what it showed, bro.
They be crying broke, dog. He
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you know what? You want another $10 billion missile? We got it, bro.
That's why I don't know, but I gotta. It's funny. I gotta talk to Khalifa, man, because she was on the same wavelength when she said pandemic. Oh, I was like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild, man, how much the military, the United States government is willing to take on, dude. Like, even so, like, I'll tell you offline more about it, but like even like federal like agencies, they'll take on like domestic missions too, like they'll help out with flooding and all this other stuff. I'm like, damn, man, we just fucking take on everything, dude.
Man, when we used to roll out on missions with the food, the financial officer, bro, and the bags, I was like, if the American, I don't know, man. Sometimes I'm paranoid, and I'm like, but they already know. They and everything. They're like, if the American people knew, money, we was.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, yeah. So hey, so you're getting in the lineage, dude, of army history. Did you want to be artillery though? Because I know you said you were doing the cop thing for a while, and you wanted maybe MP.
I told you, man, I wanted some of the action, but not all the action. Because my dad, he was supply. So I think 92 Yankee or something like that. He was supply, and I was all like, I'm cool. I don't want to be just. I mean, I love my dad, stuff like that. I used to, have on his uniform and stuff like that. But I ain't trying to be just like that. I got to forge my own path. And so, literally, I called. I swear, the recruiter station, I made their day. Because I just called him up. I was like, "Yo, what you got?" He's like, "Come on down." So I went in. I never forget. I wish I could remember my recruiter's name, but all I know, she was a fine black woman, big old ass, dog. And she could. I would have signed up anything for that. But I took my the ASVAB. I got like a 70, so they were all
shit,
bro. And I'm freaking 4-5 years out. I removed from high school, and I'm like barely. I'm just going in cold turkey, and I hate the ASVAB because the things that be kicking my ass. That spatial recognition stuff where they're like, all right, where the picture where they'll have like it's open and it's a shape, and then they're like, they'll see the closed version and it's like put together, and that's the only things that was trip me up. But I took it and they were like, you could do any job you want to, and I'm like, yo, where are the jobs with the bonuses?
I mean, yeah, you had kids, dude. I get it.
I had kids, dog, and I'm trying to get the hell up out of here. So we went through, and they gave me the videos, the old school videos, and I was like, all right, 13 mic at the time, 88, high Mars, all that stuff. It was cool, and so I was like, all right, sign me up for that. We get to MEPS, and they're like, all right, there's no more 13 mic slots, and they're like, well, you could do tanker, and I'm like, it's a tank. I was like, I always had this weird fear, because I used to watch a gang of war movies and stuff like that. I had this fear of burning up in a tank. So I was like, nah, I'm good on that. Because with an MP, they wanted a 5-year enlistment. And I'm like, nah, I just want to do 4, get in, get out, get my school money, get out of that joint. And so they went through, and then they had 13 Bravo artillery, and they showed the video. And I'm like, that's kind of like 13 Light, but it's cooler, dog. Like it's
you're launching the big gun, dude.
I was like, it was all like, or infantry. It was like, you want to shoot big guns or you want to shoot little guns? And I was like, give me the big guns. And so, man, I'm getting it, bro. When we get into it, you'll see how much I love artillery. And so, I was like, all right, sign me up to stand light. But I was like, sign me up. And so they gave me $20,000. They were shipping me out in a week and a half. And I was like, all right, bet. So, I got my stuff together. We had to go on away party for my family. But the thing is, and I don't know if you ever talk to more black veterans, like we don't in the black community, you know, whatever, we don't rock with the military, dog, because is they're adjacent to the police, and then also just the whole history of, you know, the country and like going, you know, the whole fighting the white man's war and stuff like that. And it goes in, and so a lot of people are like, nah, man, you know, you don't need to join the military. And I'm like, well, are you gonna pay my bills? Are you gonna take care of my family? Because I'm sorry, you know, hey, this white man's war is paying. Um, this stupid light. Let me open that up. But I was like, yeah, this white man's war is paying. So I was like, I gotta take care of I gotta take care of me. So I shipped off, like I said, October 12th, to good old Fort Sill. I saw you spent time at Fort Sill.
Yeah, that was I went to basic training.
Yep. And
Alpha 179, dude.
I was Alpha 122.
Oh, okay.
And so I got down there, you know, October 12th, and it's funny because I thought I had, you know, growing up military, we bouncing around a lot, but I had never been west of maybe Kansas City, Missouri, and even I did spend time in Fort Hood, but I really kind of misjudged the weather, and so I'm thinking, oh, I'm moving for, you know, I'm going further south during winter cycle. I should be all right.
Shit.
Man, I couldn't be wronger.
Yeah.
In my life, so
it was cold as hell there.
Man, that first month, October, I would say October, but as soon as it turned into November, man, it was something else.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. I went there during like a hurricane or tornado or some shit. It was wild, dude.
Gotcha.
Yeah. How did you feel about basic training? Did you need that kind of? Did it give you like a structure that you needed or no?
He gave me the money. I already had. Like I said, I was literally a fish back into the sea. For that, because I, you know, growing up, I got to be around that military culture, living on a military base, living on a military base. So, and just everything just felt familiar. And I thought it was cool when I first came to MEPS, because that's when they started rolling out the ACUs, and I'm used to seeing BDUs with my dad and the boots and stuff like that. And yeah, you got the ACUs. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, which, you know, later learning that was a piece of shit. So especially them, man, that was
Hey, I thought the ACU, what is it? With the little desert in it, it looks pretty nice.
The ACU, I mean, it's,
you know what I'm talking about? It's like it's the UCP pattern, and it has like a little bit of desert sand in it. I don't know.
The DCUs, the DC.
No, I'll send you a picture of it later.
Okay. Maybe that was the Marines.
No. The army. It was like a little limited run. Only a few people had it. So.
Okay, that must have been super limited run.
Yeah.
I was the second cycle to get ACUs, which were, you know, all my you know, folks in that area, they already know them things was garbage. They were single stitch. Like, times you would go to the knee and you be busting out your crotch, and it's like, yeah, it was trash, man.
Hey, so what was the field artillery?
So I go through basic, man, and it was funny because I was still, the first night I was like, what the hell did I do? I'm like, it felt like, but actually ain't crazier. The first day we getting smoked, and then we get to the bay, and then it get quiet. And after we getting smoked, and so they bringing in another recruit, another soldier, and, you know, and he's all like, hey, Pride, tell these, you know, soldiers what you told me. And he just quiet. He ain't saying nothing. And the drill sergeant, he all like, hey, Pride, if you don't tell him, I'm gonna tell him. And then he was all like, literally, next thing I know, he's all like, I'm an F word. I'm an F word. I'm an F word.
What?
This is during.
Oh yeah, this is that don't ask, don't tell.
So he thought like he could be like old dude from MASH and be like, I gotta, you know, make sure I could tell my language. I ain't trying to get you flagged.
No, you're good.
He was all like, basically, he was trying to be a fairy to get up out of there, and and literally we're quiet, and you're seeing this, and you can't laugh. You're like, like you trying to go home there. And what's crazy is like he ended up graduating with us. He went to Iraq with us and stuff like that. But in that night, I was like, it felt like I was a prison dog. I was like, what the hell did I do sign up for? And I kind of, at some point, I remember I was writing. I wrote back to my recruiter. I was like, I don't know, man. What about the Air Force? Still, she was all like, she was pretty much like, you better, in the nicest way possible. She was like, you better buck up and finish. And they told us the fastest way to get up out of here is to graduate. And so that was when, it was 7 and 7. So 7 weeks of basic, 7 weeks of AIT with OSIT, all together, same bunk, same bay. You go through everything. You go through your brainwashing, to kill, all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
Blood making the grass go green. And
especially right now during it's 05, dude. Like the wars.
two wars, man. And so I got through. And I'm literally sending my whole check back to my kids' mom, like everything. I ain't make no money I didn't get any of my checks. So I'm sending everything back to her. And so but I'm hustling. Like it got to a point where, especially the AIT phase, I started picking up extra fire guard shifts because I knew during lunchtime, because us red legs, we like to break. And so we got naps during lunchtime. So I knew I was going to get a nap. So I'm like, all right, let me pick an extra shift from fire guard. Made money from that. And then I was making beds because, you had some lazy folks in there. So I'll make their beds, get some extra money. But then my Hispanic brothers, they undercut my prices. being in basic, that's why I learned the difference between a Mexican and a Guatemalan, and like that. Shout out to my essays, and I was like, I got to find something else, and so I was like, what can I bring me the most money? Oh, contraband. So I started when we took our passes. I used to go get candy, dip, cigarettes. And I was hustling, man. And it wasn't nothing but the grace of God that I never got busted. Because there were folks getting busted for cell phones, smoking cigarettes. Because I knew if whoever I sold these cigarettes to, if they get busted, I knew they was gonna rat on me. So, but everybody was solid, man. So I made enough money to buy a plane ticket back to St. Louis when we were done with AIT. And then AIT portion, they wrote us out. What they would do is, basically based on I'm forgetting this light. We just gonna have to roll with this. It's getting on my nerves. I needed to get a new one. But they would, based on your duty station, it would put you on a different piece. So artillery is we finna get into the minutia artillery. They'll break it up into light and heavy. And I tell every red leg, go from light to heavy. Do not go from heavy to light. You'll hate that shit, because it's light. You got at the time they had the 119er, which we would call the pop gun, and then the piece was on that shot a 105 shell, and then they had the towed howitzer, which was the 198. Once again, that's how I'm dating myself. That's like some ancient artillery piece compared to the 8-inch. Now they got the 777, and then they had the Paladin, which was towed, and so I got sent to Fort Lewis. And so they put me on the 198 piece, and that right there is a very intimidating, and that joke was a beast because it's very physical. Mm-hmm. And just right then and there, I fell in love with artillery. Just the whole concept of I can hit a target that I don't see. It could be 18, 20 miles away with a wrap round, and I could fuck that motherfucker up.
Yeah,
I ain't even got to see him.
Yeah. Well, man, I've actually never seen the big gun go off or anything like that. But I mean, it'd be kind of. I mean, they level freaking fields. You know what I mean?
So I know you had a previous guest was an Apache pilot, and he was like, "Oh, you get up in that Apache, and it's like the coolest everything." I'm like, "You ain't never had a taste of artillery, big dog."
Yeah, dude. Honestly, if you think about there's a good representation of one. I think it's on what's that movie? But they basically tell them, and then they freaking just level the whole field, and then the infantry goes up there.
But the best representation is I love when we were soldiers, and they are getting pinned down, and they call in that artillery dog, and then you got the Viet Cong talking about, oh, the artillery is fast and accurate. And I was all like, I will run that scene back 20 freaking times. I'm over there getting a hard on because I'm like, fuck, because it's all like,
damn right.
That's all I be joking, man. It's all like, artillery, yes, queen of battle, all that stuff like that. But you know who keeps that hoe from getting Sierra Alpha? The damn king, dog. When they be calling, Charlie's on, broken arrow, all that stuff like that, man. He call us in. You hear them rounds coming in, and
Yeah.
oh, bruh.
So, how was it when you went back home?
Bruh, it was.
You're married, right? So they didn't let you bring your family?
No. Me and my ex-wife, bless our hearts, getting married at such a young age, and just a lot of my trauma came out, and so that came out in the form of like when we would. I always gotta like word this in an interesting way because a lot of people that don't use their critical thinking skills will misinterpret a lot of things. But no, we used to fight. So we used to physically fight. We went back and forth and stuff like that. And a lot of times my kids would have to see it, and it is something later in life that kind of partially motivates me to eventually do right. And I have this plan of all right, give my ex-wife 500,000 and my kids 500,000, stuff like that. But because all the stuff they had to see, and so we were constantly being separated, not separated. I was cheating, all the fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I come back home from basic, and now it's like they don't put that kill switch in my head. And during literally, I came back home and it was on hometown recruiting, and she said, like, I just wanted her to cut my hair. 'Cause I was trying to cut, my hair, and I was like, can you help me finish? And she didn't want to, and then I snapped, and we have another physical fight, and so I'm pulling out all these new moves I learned in basic training, and so the police get called. And this is where, my privilege at the time came in with my uncle being on the force. He came out and he was all like, just go, just go with your grandma until it's time for you to ship off. And so I shipped off to Fort Lewis. She didn't come with me. And that was the greatest thing. We needed to get away from each other.
Right.
Or some of us, I say in the book that if I didn't go, somebody was going to die, either me or her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good that you say that, man, because like, dude, we're in I would say the generation from like probably like the 50s now till now, it's just like that stuff happens, dude. And it's not, I'm not saying it's a good thing or anything like that. You agree.
Yeah.
But it definitely happens, man. And I appreciate you sharing
Man,
that.
you got levels to the white beater, man. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one that like was coming home every day like Ike Turner. So yeah, no. It was just like once again, it's like it's like you go, but it's like it's crazy because in our I don't know about other communities, stuff like that, but then it's all right, yo, I beat you because I love you, especially the very person that with my dad, you tell me you love me, but you're using this physical form of abuse, and then so I'm getting out, I'm 19, and then I don't know how to process that stuff, so it's like every little thing's it's this anger. And the energy has to go somewhere, and unfortunately, it went out on, but my kid. But she could scrap with the best of them, man. My kid's mom, she's from the north side of St. Louis. If anybody familiar with that ain't that it always ranks as one of the top murder capitals of the country.
Yeah,
that's how she came out of, and you got me, the suburban kid, and it's like two hard headed kids together, and it's like
yeah.
all right,
I'm glad you recognize it now because of your kids, right? Like it was probably hard on them to see all that stuff too.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part, right? Like the biggest, like that's probably a regret of yours, like doing it in front of the kids or something, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I look at life, a little bit. I don't know. Just after, I've done 14 rounds of 5-MeO DMT combo, two peyote ceremonies and 3 ayahuascas. I ain't got no regrets, man. Everything happens, even if it's ugly. Everything happens exactly when and how it's supposed to.
Mhm.
So I'm part of my life. I don't carry no weight because it's part of my story.
It's part of the journey.
Yes, my life has a lot of contrast.
Yeah.
You got these beautiful bright colors, but then you got these dark colors, but then you need them to everything goes together.
Yeah, that's interesting though. That's an interesting. I think that the what are they considered, like medicinal medicine? Like it gives you a different perspective of it,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like for me, if that happened in front of my kid, I'd feel like real regretful and shit.
Yeah, I do. I mean, every once in a while I'll play. I can look at life from every. I'll play around and I'll just sit, to entertain myself. I'll go back and look at my life, but then I'll put myself in the shoes or eyes of the other people that had to experience it. I was like, what was it like to be around me at that time? I'm like, oh shit, okay, I get it.
Oh, that's a good point.
I feel what they felt, and so I'm like, all right, I understand it. So it's not one of the things where I'm like, oh, because I was stressed out, and I was like, no, man, that's how we communicated at the time. It wasn't good, but it just what it was.
Right. That's a good point, man. I didn't even think about that. So okay, so you go to Fort Lewis. What's it like going to your unit for the first time, man? It's a different
Beautiful,
environment, dude. You're going to
beautiful,
Missouri to Fort Lewis.
beautiful, man. You fly into SeaTac, and you fly into SeaTac, and you see Mount Rainier. I was like, a volcano. I was like, oh shit. And so I get down there, and I'm just very green, ignorant, and I didn't know about the USO at the time. And so I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to get to where I'm supposed to go? And there was this white lady there at baggage claim or whatever, and she was picking up her daughter, and she kind of could tell that I was lost. And she was like, hey, are you going back to Fort Lewis? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, that's where I'm headed. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so, rode with her. She, dropped me off at Lewis in reception. And, I get there, go through the in processing, and it's like, it's green, it's beautiful. This is before they made the switch to JBLM. So it's literally just Fort Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
Or you had your regular, I was on the main post, and then we used to run to the North Ports to go, holler at hoes from time to time. But yeah, so we go through, and I get to my unit. I'm at I remember I never got getting picked up by Sergeant Caldwell, man. Caldwell, he was a big black dude, man. I'm all like, oh snap, bro, the prison stuff. But yeah, I report to 2-8 Field Artillery. We were 1st Brigade, 25th ID. And they just had got back from Iraq.
Oh,
So
okay.
they had just got back from Iraq.
Was it like 06?
This was '06. I got there in February '06.
Okay.
Yeah. And so got to my unit, and bro, I almost derailed my Army career before it even started. Because one thing they don't be telling you is about getting caught up with these dependents that are on post.
Uh-huh.
And so she told me she was 18, dog.
Yeah.
He kind of found out she wasn't. So
Yeah.
so fortunately, like my first sergeant, he was all like, hey Yancey, you gotta be careful. And so I could talk about this because it's all in my book. So everything is out there. So
Yeah.
there's no need for me to even be ashamed of anything. It's in the book. And so, but my chief at the time, and this, I gotta explain artillery language.
You definitely do.
Yeah. So in artillery, we have batteries. So it's the equivalent of companies for infantry. And so, and then you got batteries, and then you got your platoons, but then you got your howitzer sections. And then, so I was in a section, and then my what would consider be a squad leader, that we would call them chiefs. So I know like the Navy gets confused with that. All we got chiefs is like, no, you have a howitzer section chief. And so then at the next level, you'll have a gunny. So he's an E6. He lays the battery and gets the battery all set up. And then above him, the platoon sergeant we call him smoke. And so that's the E7. So that's smoke. And then everything else is the same. Like first sergeant, top, all that, whatever. So
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, my chief, he was all like, bro, you over here trying to be R. Kelly, man.
Damn, dude.
I was like, oh, my bad. And so, but shout out to my first chief, man, Smoke Rob. He is still in the Army. He's on his last he's the LeBron James of the shit, man. He's still rolling. Like he's on his. I think he should be retiring.
Yeah.
I think this next year. I need to get his retirement gift together. But yeah, man. He had a fast tracking. He was an E5 getting ready to get it promoted to E6 from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I thought he was white. And so we're like, one day we're riding to the field, and he's playing a bunch of rap music with, and I'm all like, bruh. He's all like, no, man, I'm half, I'm biracial. I was like, oh, okay. But he looked like he looked more like Logic, that one rapper. He was kind of on that side. But yeah, shout out to him, and just shout out to everybody else from that time.
So what was it like? I mean, they just got back from Iraq. Are they getting ready to go on another Iraq deployment?
Yeah.
Or
So it's crazy how that works. So they get back from Iraq, and to us, they're freaking rock stars, man.
yeah.
You know, they telling the stories. I remember I got to my unit, and as soon as I got back up in the barracks, there's two dudes doing extra duty because they had just got bad. They got popped for smoking, and I'm like, instantly I was like, you know what? Whatever they did, I ain't finna be doing. And so they're just getting back. The barracks is crazy. Barracks life. And you just seeing some wild. The barracks is wild. One day you come out, and this is back. We had communal bathrooms, and so I go to the latrine, and one of the soldiers, he's swimming in his vomit because he's so fucked up, man. And so they coming back. And we do some regular, training. I ended up going to Yakima, Washington. That was my first field problem, going out to the field. And man, fuck that cold. Like that first night I was freezing. I was trying to cuddle with my chief. He was like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" I'm like, "I'm trying to get warm." But yeah, we out there, we slinging artillery, and then once we get back, we start getting ready for Germany. So we reflagged from. All right, we reflagged from 25th ID to 2nd Striker Cavalry Regiment, which is crazy because back in Germany, my dad was second. It was 2nd Cavalry Regiment, and so we were literally in the same unit, 20 years apart. Not even trying. Like we didn't. I didn't even know. I didn't even pick a duty station. I was trying to stay close to home, but I was at 2CR, always ready, 2 Prairie. And the old 2SCR, they reflagged to 4th Brigade, 2nd ID. And so we reflagged, the whole unit moves to Germany. And we're training, man. I was in the very much minority because I got to spend 2 years with I had guys from basic. I spent 2 years with them before I even went to Iraq. And so all we're doing is training. We're doing artillery stuff, like we're going to the field, slinging that sweet artillery, and but then just being in Germany, man, it was a wild. Oh my goodness, bro. Hey, if you're a black soldier listening to this, take your ass to Germany.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, freaking. I've heard that the German love black soldiers, dude.
You are literally like, the best way I can explain it is like you're Superman over there, or you're like SeaWorld, you're Shamu at SeaWorld. Like, you are the show.
Yeah.
They throwing it at you, man. I literally got there. I got Germany on a Wednesday, and by that weekend, I was knocking them down, Chief.
Hey, so you guys reflagged to Germany, dude, and how much longer till you guys go to Iraq for the first time?
So we got to Germany in about June, July of 06. Deployment orders.
Oh, shit, you were in Fort Lewis a long time, dude.
I was at Fort Lewis for like 4 months.
Okay.
Literally. Just long enough to get my stuff, do some training, and reflag.
Yeah.
And so and get chlamydia. I was married, but I wasn't. Nah, we was separated, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got, and then we were all right. So this was let me see. In '07 is when we start getting rumblings of, all right, it's time to get ready.
Yeah.
Or to come on the deployment schedule. And so we were getting word that at first it was supposed to be Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't. But then we were a striker unit, and strikers were fairly new to the battle scene.
Yep.
And so they were like, at the time they didn't occupy, what's it called, like RC South.
Yeah.
They weren't really down there, and so we ended up. They flip flopped us with 173rd Airborne. So you had the infantry boys down in Vicenza at 173rd, and then the artillery boys were in Bamberg. So I had homies that I would go see in Bamberg, and then so it was like, all right, you're going to Iraq again for them, and that was it was going to be a surge. That's when they were talking about the surge. Yeah. You're doing 15, and just like I remember my chief, he was all like, oh, this feels different. Like I don't know about this one, man. Yeah, compared to, and I'm like, man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. But nah, we were being with the same group of guys for that long. Whereas I had homies that literally, because they're telling you in basic training, like, hey, privates, you either going or you're coming. You're either coming back from war or you're going. And so I literally had homies like, all right, as soon as they get to that units, spend a month over there and then, pack your bags. Even I had homies in 2ID, we would party. And they were like, all right, you going, I went to Germany, they went to Iraq.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. How is the Army like professionally wise to you? Are they trying to develop you into like a next leader? I know you're having a lot of fun in Germany and stuff like that, but like you're there for like what, a year? Are they doing the development stuff, or they just focus on the deployment?
They turned me into a killer, man. That's what they did. They turned me into a professional killer. And so they were trying to set me up for success because they were trying to right away because I was fast tracking, just being, because I didn't join until I was 23. So a lot of the immature BS. I was like, man, I'm here. Like, I'm not trying to mess my money up. I'm not going to be on extra duty. I can't be half a month's pay for 2 months, stuff like that. I was like, nah, I'm good. So I'm like, I just never got caught. I was still doing stuff. I just I wasn't I was still getting driving through the front gate and doing wild stuff. I just was never getting busted. And so but they tried to send me the Soldier of the Month board, but I messed that up because I didn't have my dress greens ready because it was still in personal storage.
Yeah.
I didn't carry him with me in my personal baggage. So they sent my boy Hooker, they sent him, he got, but to answer your question, they were trying to set me up. I just had this weird thing of like trying, sabotaging my own life to make it. For whatever reason, I like playing life on all Madden. Like, so.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's all like, so yeah.
So what part of Iraq are they telling y'all are going to?
They sent us to Taji. So a little bit north of Baghdad.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Sergeant Major Cook Defact, legendary. Oh man, too bad you didn't go to Iraq, man. But anybody that's listening to this and been to, they already know about Sergeant Major Cook Defact. That was a legendary defact over there.
Yeah.
And so they're telling us, Taji. They're telling us it's a surge, so they're preparing us for, to be an infantryman. And I'm all like, I was not cut out for that infantry life, dog. Them jokers, y'all walk too damn much, man. For somebody who got flat feet. But it was cool because they taught us all I learned how to be an infantryman, CQB stuff, clearing rooms, clearing houses, how to, do ambushes and all these, different things that infantry got. I got a crash course in being 11 Bravo.
Yeah. Was that something you were okay? So you say that obviously you're not ready for it, but like, I mean, the moment being called to do soldier things, that's part of it. That's part of the thing.
Yeah.
So
I just wasn't ready for all that walking.
So like your NCOs, have they been to Taji or anything like that?
No, they had been to Mosul. So
okay.
They had been to Mosul before. So
this is like a new area for a lot of people.
It was a new AO, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's kind of paint the picture, man. Did you how do you feel? You're what, 26, maybe 25?
24, I think.
Okay, so how do you feel? Like, I mean, do you have
24
kids?
hours.
Do you feel like your life's on the line here or anything?
I can't, like, the best only feeling I do remember was the night before. Like, I literally, the anxiety hit me. I felt like I was finna go away to prison for 15 months.
Yep.
And I was messing with this German chick at the time. And I spent the night at her place before we shipped out, and I couldn't sleep. Like, I was all like, what is this feeling? Because I didn't, you kind of feeling like a little bit, oh, we finna go, and we had a going away ceremony, and formation. You got a sergeant major telling you, hey, some of y'all ain't coming back. I'm like, hey, dog, don't you know we got families? You sure you want? We got families up in here, man. But that's the reality. Like,
It is, yeah.
some of y'all ain't coming back. Look to your left and your right. But yeah, that night before, I was scared, man. And I know, saying, oh, you shouldn't be, man, bro. Fear is real. And that's it. But you can either bitch up and not go. I did. We did have soldiers at the time. With smoke and piss hot to try to get out going. Of course, how women getting pregnant. And so, but it's all like, I was like, I can't turn back now.
Yeah.
This thing. And so then you're like, all right, pick up, pull up your big boy drawers and let's go.
Yeah. There's a lot of like a lot of people when I was in, they used to say I'm not scared, but now that everybody's gotten older, like, yeah, I was scared. But there's an excitement aspect to it, right? Because you're gonna do your job in real time, and then there's
not me.
Yeah, not that art. Yeah. But like it's kind of weird though, man, right? Like, it's a weird feeling going over there, man. Like,
yeah, because
soldier things.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Sam needed bodies. Uncle Sam needed bodies
Right.
for the war machine. And so we I leave, let me see, we left August. Yeah, August '07. So you take your flight. It was a short flight, fortunately, from Germany. Get into Kuwait. You step off that plane, that damn hair dryer blowing in your face. Woo! And then I'm a private, so they get your ass on baggage detail. And so, you're at Camp Virginia, and then you get there, everything, and you're like, go straight to the McDonald's, eat the McDonald's, and then, you're shitting your brains out because it's the oil is different. And then from, spend about a couple weeks acclimating in, you're never gonna get acclimated to that shit. In Kuwait. And then we went from Kuwait to Biak, so Baghdad International Airport. And you do that combat descent, coming in, come down. They drop that a few hundred feet, and you're like, oh my goodness, like your stomach drop is like a roller coaster. And you hop out and get the Biak, and then you take a Chinook from Chinook to Biak to Taji. Getting off of that bird, rotor wash, and it's just hot air dryer. I'm all like, what did I sign up for?
Right.
And so you get to Taji, and I got to Taji. It was funny because I saw my homies from 25th that were there that I went to basic with, seeing them because they're getting ready to go home, and then we're actually relieving. I think it was either 2nd or 3rd Brigade 2ID, and my homies that I went to basic with, we were relieving them, and you could instantly tell, like, something's different, man, because the looks on their faces, they had the 1,000-yard stare. They're at the end of their 15, and they had been in Humvees, and they was them IEDs, dog, wasn't no joke.
Yeah. This is '07, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the EFP started coming.
It was, yeah, I think EFP, but it was mostly like IEDs and stuff like that they were telling us. And of course, when you're going through Kuwait, they'll give you a book on like the first 100 days, which is like the first 100 days to keep you from getting your head blown off.
Right.
And so, and I don't know, it's funny because you had said something with Khalifa with the conversation where she was talking about the Warriors versus Afghanistan versus Iraq.
Yeah.
It's the difference is it was asymmetric warfare where it's all like when Afghanistan, the difference is once again, they have been fighting since Genghis Khan.
Yep.
So that was what they did. It's like, all right, man, we picking up a gun. That's what we do. And then they always had the advantage. Like I would say, if them Taliban had the same capabilities as y'all, America, they wouldn't make it because they had the high ground.
Yep.
That stuff like that. They had the advantage. Whereas in Iraq, my enemy, and I have such a profound respect for them because you should always, I feel like you should always have respect for your enemy. They just didn't have everything. Iraq is flat. Like everything is flat, is desert, and all these urban combat environment, and so they don't have the advantage. So with asymmetric warfare, if you don't have the advantage, you gotta adjust. You gotta adjust to your enemy, and they're not bound to Geneva Convention. So they're like, all right, I don't have an Apache.
Hmm.
I don't have air support. I don't have these 500-pound bombs. And then the Iraqis, they were just fighting because we showed up. Like that was it. They were like, you came up to my house. Oh, we got to fight, dog.
Yeah.
And then they were fighting. And then at the time, they were fighting. They were fighting a civil war. I give it up to the Iraqis so much because they were fighting a civil war and us at the same time.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely different too, right? Because they got rid of Saddam's army, and then now like they're trying to build up a militia, and then they got a civil war going on, and so like during the time that you went, it was like still kind of brand new for them, and
That damn, I swear, this is why I can't be around American citizens too much because they be drinking the Kool-Aid, and I'm like, dog, that was a scam, man. That was because I got to Iraq, and I was all like, hold the fuck up, these people. It was literally you're going into a time warp. They're like
yeah,
50 years behind us.
right.
Like they're not a threat. They are not a threat to the United States. I don't care what propaganda they trying to sell y'all. These people, I don't. Nah, they don't.
What I've heard from a lot of Iraq vets is like that's why they would do the ID because they couldn't stand and gun like the Afghans could, right? Like it was like they would have to shoot you, lure you, and then blow you up.
And because like once again, they're not. They fight because once again, if somebody let's just say like somebody pulled up to San Antonio, we gonna they gonna everybody gonna pull out their weapons and stuff like that. They're just fighting because they have to. Versus you got an enemy in Taliban is all like this is part of our culture.
Yeah.
So Iraq, you got to think about it. Like the last war they were really. I mean you had to go for it the first time, but that was that stuff was just. That was just political beef. That's all.
Yeah,
That was.
yeah, for sure.
And then America got this toy that they got to play with, and they were a threat to maybe Iran or whatever each other and stuff like that. But nah, they were not a threat to the American people at all.
So okay, so kind of tell me what it's like, your artillery going to be an infantry guy. So like what do you what do you do? What are you doing?
So and it's wild because we and American tax dollars is how we spend it. We took our howitzers with us just so we could leave it with them. That's how the money laundering works. And so we all we're doing is we're doing presence patrols.
Yeah.
And so of course, if you know anything about the surge, you're like, all right, we gotta get out these fives, we gotta get amongst the people. And so we're literally like, on some, kindergarten cop, like who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah.
Who's all in the house, we're taking, was it hides, I think, fingerprints and trying to
The
get
eye.
getting a lay of the land. And so we're just doing a lot of boring as presence patrol. And it was just like the boredom was just ridiculous. You're just going out and we didn't really like for the first my mission in particular, we're just watching the road. So we're watching the road, 12 on, 12 off, sprinkling some presence patrols in between. Not really seeing. We're hearing rumblings of maybe our infantry unit getting because they put them in like the hornet's nest pretty much.
Yeah.
And because since we're artillery, they put us around it, and so then we've got an infantry squad or not squadron. We had a troop, kilo troop. They were attached to us, so we had some striker elements with us, and they were the first ones to get the hit. So I think I want to say we got there in August. A few months later, that's when we got our first KIA. Rest in peace to Sergeant First Class Randy Johnson. So his striker ended up getting hit, and he was the only one. His butt cheek got blown off, and he ended up bleeding out. It's crazy because during my ceremonies with ayahuasca, I actually relived that encounter. Like I looked at it from his perspective of him dying and all his brothers being around when all that was going on.
Damn.
Yeah, so he that was our first, and that's when Iraq got real. Like that was like, oh shit.
That was like your moment.
Yeah, that was like, oh snap, and it's crazy because it was all like you know, like you see these are people that you see. Like you may not necessarily be close to them, but it's the fact that you see him. And you're like, and he's got a family. You know, he wanted to take him back to Disney World when he got back, and it's just that loss. You know. And
No, I know.
into
Yeah, I
the-
know exactly what you're saying.
Like if you want to see some battle tested grown ass man cry, go to that memorial service, and especially when they do that last roll call and they start playing taps, man,
You can't hold it, man. I mean, yeah, like I've been to a tap ceremony recently, and like I still like it just gives me like flashbacks of those moments, and yeah, dude, it sucks. It sucks big time. But what was going through your head, man, as a young soldier, like y'all's first loss?
I was just trying to live, man. That was it. That's a beautiful thing about war, man. You're everything's simplified. Like all
Yeah.
you doing eating, drinking, sleeping, lifting weights, you know, rubbing one out from time to time, and then watching, playing video games, and you're just trying to live. You lived, that was a win for the day.
Right,
You know?
right.
Like I can't. I don't. It's like I have to because I'm working on this book, so I'm having to like go back in time and try to think about, all right, what was it like to then? And it's all like you didn't think about feelings, man. You were just trying to get through the day.
Yeah. So I mean, you're there in what'd you say? You started in August. Okay, so
Yeah,
now I mean, your first does it get progressively worse, or how does
it was like not really like it was. We were dealing with IEDs here and there,
Yep.
and we ended up moving to a JSS, which is a joint security station with the Iraqis. It was like right in between Taji and Liberty. And so we used to, sometimes we would run to Liberty, go get some stuff,
Yeah.
sometimes they had, more stuff at the PX, and or we would go back to Taji, and things. I want to say, and so I'm thinking like, dog, I get over here, but you kind of get to the war too late because at that time we're already is more, all the Wild Wild West, the rodeo, all that stuff. That was, the DCU era, even leading up to that, all that whatever. And so I'm thinking like, damn, I'm getting over here. I ain't about to see shit. This is about to be a boring ass deployment. I mean,
Yeah.
ADs. I was like, because even then, hey kids, there was a time when you had to be in country 90 days before you got your combat patch.
Yeah.
And so I'm all, I finally got it or whatever. Man, what is this? This thing sucks. We just walking around or whatever. And then March of '08, the Mahdi Army, the Sheikh Ebtad Muqtada al-Sadr, there we go. I used to call him Murder Mook. He did call that off the ceasefire. And so I'll never forget that day. We was out on patrol. One of our Humvees, elite Humvee, had the mine roller, and they got stuck in like the canal. So we're trying to get this thing out of there, and then we started getting chatter on the net, like, oh man, the police station has been overran at the town that was close to us. So we're like, oh shit. So, we get back to the JSS, we make sure everything good. We get the loadout, we get the mission. And we're pulling up to the town. It's quiet, man. And all I remember going past the meat market. And that's why I have third world country fly PTSD. Them damn flies that like to come on you and just sit there. You can wave them away and they come on back, or they come, on the meat or whatever, the carcasses. So we get out there, we pulling up, and then instantly, we taking gunfire. And so, and then we see a truck trying to squirt out. And so we're trying to, my Humvee, my Element, we pursue them. We take care of that, and then we set up an outer cordon around the town. And so I'm the gunner, and I have a busted 50 cal. I had maintenance on that thing. I had cleaned it, broke it down, took it to the armor. It was busted still. It was a single shot pretty much. So every time I would have to cock that motherfucker back, shoot around. And so I'm seeing like we're set up. I see some feet walking. There's a gate. I see some feet. I'm like, oh shit, they trying to get me from the left. And so I spin it around. I put two rounds into the gate. Feet run off. Good thing that didn't kill them because I would have probably had to explain that in a 15-6. And so then once again it gets quiet. The streets clear out, And the next thing I know, this damn Haji with I'm I'm exaggerating a little bit, but he had a sweatpants, flip flops, and a suit coat on. Come around the corner, shoot an RPG, and literally as everything's slow motion. And as the RPG and you see in the smoke trail getting closer, my booty hole getting tighter, and I'm all like, dog, I'm about to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Good thing he had bad aim because it ended up hitting behind me, and I'm letting loose because the gunfire is coming behind it, and so I'm on this damn 50 cal. I'm like, ka ka, boo, ka ka, boo, and then my smoke is like, Yancey, you better, what are you doing? And I'm like, man, smoke damn 50 cal busted. I was like, man, so I just said, fuck it. I busted out my M4 and I'm just letting that thing go, man.
Yeah.
And it's everything like the movies is true. Like if it's a whiz, it's close. If it's a snap, it's right by, and you start hearing snaps. I'm like, oh my goodness, we for real, dog. And so we have a little back and forth, and that's how I earned my CAB. And then we everything died down. Then we end up coming back the next night, and then you got the Apaches with the Hellfires taking everything, and that was it. That was pretty much the extent of that one. But hey, I earned a cab out of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a surreal moment for you, especially the fact that you're artillery, right? Like you don't think that you're gonna be that close shooting somebody.
If I'm getting like as artillery, if I'm getting shot, we got this thing that we call direct fire, where like we drop the tubes down and we can shoot it like a tank.
Yep.
So I always say like if we gotta do direct fire, so many people messed up because infantry messed up, the Cav Scouts, everybody. So having to be in that, I'm like, dog, this is not what I signed up for. But
Right.
hey, I'm here now.
Yeah. Did you so when you come up on the end of this deployment, dude, how do you feel? Like, I mean, like you're 2 years in, right? Specialist probably right by now.
Yeah, I made specialist, and
Yeah.
even before that, because like half of it, like that deployment was like night and day. So we're at Taji, and then I want to say maybe like summertime, they sent us up to Warhorse, up to Bakuba, Diyala province, and that was crazy, man, because we were literally hitting like there was an 11-day stretch where we were hitting IEDs damn near every day.
Yeah.
But man, like I said, I'm here for a reason because the IEDs would either hit the truck in front of me or they would hit the truck behind me. And one time we went out and we picked up the local Towns Village people. They gave us some like C4 explosives or whatever.
Yep.
We were driving away and then bam, truck in front of me got hit with the C4 in it, blasted out the whole back. And if the C4 would have went off, like the whole convoy would have been gone. But everybody lived in that one, and then so you had that, and then July 4th, 2008, we're rolling out in our MRAPs, and we're MRAP down because it got hit, and so we're three MRAPs deep, and then I'm the middle truck, and I'm the gunner, and so out of the corner of my eye, I see a big old, fireball, and I was like, oh shit, and so. Everybody, that get hit because I got hit with a triple stack AT mine because what they were doing, they started wrapping them in plastic so EOD couldn't get them. And so next thing I heard contact left, and so I'm on the 240 this time, thank God.
Yeah.
And I'm 240. You could treat that thing like a hoe, and it's still gonna go. And I'm just spraying. And eventually, we have to, calm down. We have to wait, for recovery to come get us. And then I ended up earning an ARCOM that day. Yeah, but yeah, it's basically IEDs, mortars, rockets. Before I redeployed, about 2 weeks before redeployment from Iraq, we got rocketed, and I'm like, dog, I made this whole time. I'm not trying to, die today. I'm running back to the tent, and unfortunately ended up killing some of the guys from the relief of 25th. And unfortunately, we were like, it wasn't any of our guys, and we're like, no. And it was like, all right, shit, sucks to be them, but we gotta keep it going.
Yeah, it's weird, right? That always happens.
I will say that if you're gonna die, you want to die within the first few weeks versus you at the end of your deployment and you get taken out.
Yeah, it ends up happening like that too, right? Like there's like a missed call right before you come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we finished that deployment. I got home, and it was at a time where if you did over 12 months, you were getting an extra 1,000. and so we getting an extra $1,000, and I got home October 30th of 2008.
Damn, that's a long time, dude.
Shit, who you telling, man? That was a crazy time, man. Yeah, shout out to the Stop Loss boys. Like, shout out to the Surge. Yeah, doing 15, man. Because while we were there, they stopped the 15 months. So we're thinking, oh, maybe we'll go home in 12. Like, nah, you doing the whole 15, homie.
Hey, so I mean, I know you said before you joined, you only wanted to do like 4 years, right? What like did this deployment kind of confirm that, or what were you thinking?
No, because once again, I was still like, I wasn't in a financial position to really get out, because this would have been '08. That was a financial crash.
Right.
I got man, good old Uncle Sam and the big green weenie. I got scammed because I was gonna. At first, I almost took a 6-year contract to Fort Hood. Thank God I didn't do that. And then I was like, all right, I kind of want to stay and want kind of gotta get out. It was like, all right, so I took a 2-year extension. I thought they were telling, oh, you can go to Fort Riley, ETS closer to home. Man, I did that extension. I get back to Germany, and all they did was push back my date to leave Germany to my ETS date. And I'm like, these motherfuckers. And so I was like, all right, what do we got to do? And at the time, like, if I didn't have kids, I would have never left Germany, man. I would have never left Germany. I was having a good time.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? Let me see what this Army thing is hitting for. Let's see if we can make a career out of it. And so, we get back from Iraq. I go to the E5 board, and they're like, well, if you want to get out of Germany, you got to re-enlist for 4 years. And I was like, all right, you can get choice of duty station, and I got $5,000 tax. And so I'm like, so then they sent me to it was Warriors Leaders course at the time. I think it's LC now. And I went there, and I picked Fort Carson, because it was either Fort Carson or what's out in El Paso?
Fort Bliss.
Fort Bliss.
Yeah.
And I had a WOC start. He's like, you don't want to go to Bliss, man. You just came back from Iraq. It's just like Iraq out there.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to, that's why I tell people to go from light to heavy, because I was getting tired of getting rained on. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go to a mechanized unit. And Fort Carson was one of them duty stations that had mechanized artillery.
Okay, so you're E5 already, though.
Yeah, I made 5.
Okay, so how do you like when you get man, what's the word I'm looking? PCS. When you PCS to Carson, what's your mindset going in as a new, like, what is it called? The E5s? Are y'all team leaders, or what are y'all doing?
Well, yeah, we're so the E5 position on the howitzer is the gunner.
Okay, so the gunner, like, going into that,
right, man, going into your right hand man next to the chief. Yeah. And so going into that, new E5, fumbling through, trying to figure it out. Shout out to the soldiers, had my early soldiers, but going in, I go back to I do PCS leave, and I'm thinking, like, me during the Iraq tour, me and my ex-wife, we kind of had a reconciliation, and we were trying to trying to work things out, but I still was, man, I came home from R&R, and me and her got to an argument, and I went to my homie. We went to the strip club in East St. Louis, and I ended up smashing a stripper, man. That's the tough time I was on.
Yeah.
So, like, we still, but then I'm all right. So, like, kind of last minute, she was like, all right, I'll go with you to the kids, whatever. And I take them out to Carson, and I was instant mistake, man. We had no business being together. And so I was like, all right, I'm not finna mess up my career. So I'm getting out there, a new E5, fast tracking, we do there. And then, cause I got to 3rd Battalion, 29th FA, as far as 3rd Brigade, 4th ID, Steadfast and Loyal, the Ivory Brigade. And they had been on the same rotation that we had in Iraq. And so they were getting ready for another trip. So I get through, do NTC. And it was like, I feel like I was just, being an E5, but at the same time I had aspirations of, get promoted, because I'm like, I got kids, man. I'm not finna turn down on a promotion. I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah.
Army don't pay enough already. And so I looked like I knew what I was doing because I already knew the basic infantry tactics, and that's all we did. And you go to NTC, and after you go to Iraq the first time, you go to NTC, and you're like, man, it's just boring.
Yeah, the NTC does suck.
But what's crazy is I started developing narcolepsy, and going to NTC, which is like where you just fall asleep. And I learned like later that every time we would get in the Humvee for a mission, I would knock out cold. And I learned later that that was my brain's way of shutting everything down because it was all like, yo, if we die, if we get hit by IED, you at least gonna die in your sleep. So I'm gonna turn the lights off.
Yeah.
Gotta suffer. And so yeah, we go through NTC and then come back and then we get ready. I went back to Iraq in March of 2010.
Oh wow, and it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Right. Like I mean, I think after 09, Iraq kind of like slowed down a lot.
Yeah, we were drawn down. Oh, bitch ass Obama was in office. At first, I was all, oh yeah, black president, man. But then you start the military is the first ones get affected by everything that happens at the top office.
Right.
So man, I'm thankful that them deployments were like night and day. Because we ended up this time around, I went down south to Gary Owen, which is down in I forgot Nasiriyah. Yeah, Nasiriyah, kind of close to Iran, Euphrates River, all that stuff like that. And I was at Gary Owen for a while, for a few months. But I got a D, like literally, I pinned E6. I made E6 in 4 years and 3 months. I pinned E6 in January of 2010. I got a DUI February, the night before I was supposed to go to EO school. So, but they didn't. It was off post. Only like very few people knew it. My E7 at the time in charge because my first sergeant was on deployment leave. He was gone, and so my E7 he was like, "Hey, Yancey, we can either tell top about this, or we can sweep this under the rug. But just so you know, if they find out about it, I gotta fuck you. I gotta do my job, homie.
Yeah.
And you know what? I appreciate you. We're gonna go with that option. And fortunately it was off post. I got my license suspended. I just paid the money for that or whatever. And so, I think enough because we got to Gary Owen. Gary Owen was interesting because literally we in country 3 weeks, and an infantry soldier from our infantry squadron, he ended up shooting himself in the porta john.
Oh shit!
I'm so thankful I didn't find him because if I found him, I would have never pissed in a porta john again. Just eating a bullet. He was on some bird dog stuff and just walked off the fire. But he just ate a bullet, man. He was getting bullied. He wasn't adjusting well to a deployment, and so. But Gary, it was a totally different up tempo. All we were doing was rolling outside the wire just enough not to go crazy, and just checking out projects. All that money we was spending, micro grants.
Yeah, like, are you kind of like bummed out? Like the deployment kind of slowed down, or boring deployments kind of suck. So.
Yeah, but it's like I couldn't stand my first sergeant at the time, but there was a method to his madness. He first sergeant Maynard, he kept us busy. He knew because I don't know if y'all haven't read the book Black Hearts, about the 101st, the ones and boys that raped and killed that Iraqi girl.
Yeah, I heard about it.
And he made all the leaders read that book to show how you've got to keep your soldiers engaged and just all that stuff like that could happen. And he kept. I got some very good leadership lessons from him, and because I love my chief to death from the first one, but he was kind of like, you're a grown man. You should know what you're supposed to do. It wasn't like I kind of was all like, learn by example. And I took a hands-off approach. And my first time I was like, nah, man, you've got to hold your soldier's hand until, you got to help them walk before they're ready to run. So you got to be with them, be in the dirt with them. And, he really pushed me to, be a better leader. And so, he made us read them, books and stuff like that. But I think it got to a point where we had too many E6 in my battery. And I don't know if anybody really knew about that DUI, but they ended up sending me off to Fob Adder to be a part of. I don't know. Our sergeant major had a PSD, which is crazy because usually sergeant majors they usually just roll with the commander.
Yep.
And so for a little while, he had a PSD, and I was with him. And I guess the rumor was he had a little shawty off at one of the off-post facility or off-5 facilities that he used to not like to knock down. So, we would go take him. And so, oh man, so when they post, never mind. She might have been another NCO. My bad. It was all allegedly, a lot allegedly.
Yeah.
But it was they later took that mission away from us, and damn, I broke the rule, dog. My bad.
No, you're good, bro. It's not. You didn't really say nothing, really.
Yeah. I'm just making sure, man. I was trying to respect the limit, the left and right limits.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
All right, but yeah, they took away that mission and they just gave us. We were just QRF, and then we would just watch roads, man. That was it. And once again, we were transitioning to Operation New Dawn, and so we got to watch the last of the combat troops roll out.
Yeah.
And I wasn't bummed out, man. I had downtime, and I was a staff sergeant, and I got some that deployment, man. I knocked down this combat stress chick, and then an Air Force chick, man. I was living the life.
Getting paid no tax, dude.
Bruh, best money ever.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell me.
It's right what you said though. Like you got to keep your soldiers like engaged during something like that because if they get bored, like that's like I feel like that's what's going on with TikTok. Like I think we talked about it, right? Like they're just bored, dude. Like
it's literally because the end of my first deployment, we got to 15, and like that. I tell people like that place it can drive you crazy. We had one of my homeboys, he had stuff going on back home with his wife and good old Jody, man. He tried to jump out of the guard tower so he could go home, but he ended up finishing the deployment. I was like, I tell you, the fastest way to get up out of here is to finish.
Yeah.
We had guys because you see all the drugs that hit the world before they come through the military first. And so, we had some guys doing some lean and, they got busted for that. And it's like that place will do some crazy things to your mind. That's why I don't put anything past anybody because I could see what, that war can do. And then once again, like our deployment, we had to, it was, a lot of downtime. So you had to, stay engaged, make sure you're doing something to keep your brain just moving. And I used to keep from going crazy. Instead of counting days, I used to count checks. I was like, all right.
That's a good way to do it.
One pay period, down. All right. 11 versus 365 days and all that. Like, nah, man.
Yeah.
And even my R&R, I came back because I was smart enough to, wait till the war's end. But I did R&R and I'm in Kuwait and you're seeing these Afghanistan boys, man, just young boys, 18, 19. And bruh, like they had that 1,000-yard stare and they got dusty uniforms. Some of their boots is untucked. And I'm all like, as a leader, I was like, you know what? I should probably correct that soldier over there. But I'm like, being a leader that I know, that little private might beat my ass because he just came from Afghanistan. And I'm like, I don't want no smoke. You good, soldier. Hey, welcome home, brother.
Yeah.
I never been to Afghanistan. Much respect to y'all, but the stories that I've heard, like it was a monster, dog. And I have friends like I could, if I would have stayed in Germany, I would have gone to Afghanistan with 2 SCR. But I'm glad I'm different because I had friends go on that deployment, and they came back, and they were almost unrecognizable as far as I was all like, help. Like I got one partner, he's in the midst of his alcohol addiction, and I'm all like, I can't tell him shit because I didn't see the stuff that he saw. The best thing I could do is like, hey man, just keep going.
Right. So when you get done with this deployment, are you still like, hey, Army career or no?
Yeah, because it's funny because I was always trying to run away from artillery, but because I wasn't doing my job.
Yeah.
And I was not doing my job. I go through 2 deployments. unfortunately, like, when we got to Iraq the first time, you already had first cav taking care of artillery for Taj. You get up to Warhorse, third ACR is taking care of that. I just did a deployment in Iraq again, didn't do artillery, and so I remember I was trying to reflag the 25 Bravo at one point, or reflag, but reclass.
Yep.
I was like, you know what? But then I re-enlisted to be, artillery. But I was like, you know what? I'm fast tracking, 4 years, 3 months. Pretty at the time is,
That's fast.
fast. Yeah, a little too fast. I skipped some steps along the way. That's real. Like, some very key steps that I needed in my development. But you're like, the Army don't pay enough. I'm not finna, this money is nice. And so, but I was like, I'm gonna make a career out of this. And but I was a deployment soldier. Like I was on a role as bad, the action pack, all that stuff like that. And they were trying to do an SFAT mission. So they were gonna send guys to Afghanistan. And but Uncle Sam was all like, yo, hey homie, nah, you need to learn how to be a section chief. And so we started going through the process of learning. And I had my biggest, once I get back, I had my biggest failure in my Army career, which is the best thing that happened to me, because they sent me to I think it's ALC, Advanced Leaders Course. I don't know what it is now. And so we had phase 1 and phase 2 at Fort Carson. Usually it was all like, phase 2, they send you somewhere else. And so you go through and I learned the basics of being a section chief, how to, get on the safety circle, I forgot the circle. Artillery guys know, my bad. A lot of this stuff I done forgot because I've been out 13 years. And they, they teach me the basics of being a chief, but they just assume that I know what I'm doing. And I'm all like, I don't know, man. I'm just because I had never
winging it.
Yeah. Because it's the thing, like that's the thing that comes with the rank. It's the pride of not knowing. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what to ask. You don't, stuff like that. But and on the flip side, because I skated by on intelligence. Like I skated by on being smart and being good at PT. Like even though I had these flat feet, I had my smoke rod. He came from the 82nd, so he had us running. And I got to a point where I could run 2 miles in 14 minutes. But you get to Carson at elevation, dog. That took a, but I was good at that. But nobody sat me down to make sure it was like, hey, you know your job.
Develop you.
Yeah, develop. Nobody sat down but I didn't develop myself. I didn't take time to learn. We got, manuals, dash. I didn't take the time to learn the art of artillery. And so we got to certification time. And it's some funny shit ever, man. We get out there, man. And what's crazy is my roommate, he had came from heavy, so he knew what he was doing. But I never asked him, like, bro, how you do this shit, dog? Oh, that was a wild time, man. It's another separate story. I gotta have to read the book how I ended up not that roommate, but I had a heroin addict living with us for a little brief period of time. So make sure I gotta plug my book. Y'all can read Red Leg 3, 2, and 1. It's on YouTube, the audio version, and the other books on Amazon. I'm working on Red Leg 4. But yeah, my homie Davis, he kind of knew his, but I never asked. And so we get out to certification. So how it works is, do you have in the medics where you have to certify to be
yeah, you have to every year you have to redo your skills and stuff.
Okay. All right, there we go. So we have, you go out there and you're getting certified. And we're out in the field, and my raider, he could kind of tell I ain't know what I was doing. And so it got to a point. Next thing I know, sergeant major in my damn gun. And so this is like the best way I could explain a paladin. It's like a tank, but bigger. And so you can get a lot of, a few people in there. So sergeant major, he's up in my gun. He looks like black dude looking like James Brown. He's like Yancey. He's saying, you know what you're doing? And he's like, he asked my gunner. He was like, take apart this breech. Like it's a breech. It's like it goes apart, to the gun, to the tube. And my number one man, kid you not, he like, I don't know how to take apart the breech, sergeant major. And I was like, fuck. And the next thing I know, he asked me, he was like, hey, Yancey, why your soldiers don't know how to because everything falls on the chief, dog. It don't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
It's always on the chief. You know, why your soldiers don't know how to try to breach? Do you know how to take apart the breach? No, it's all right. Get off my range, Yancey. Get off my range. Like that one dude with that one creator, Real Talk creator, hey, get off my range.
Yeah.
Literally like that. And I'm all like, I was like, I couldn't get mad at my you know, my sorry, but I thought my gunner was good because he came from hood and they were mechanized. I'm like, but nah, man, it was like get out my range. And man, that was the lowest point of my Army career, man.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking this is like a regular job. And so I'm like, all right, you know, what's the worst gonna happen to me? And it sucked because I didn't get to shoot, and then they still make you do the whole field problem. So we out there doing crew drills and stuff like that, but everybody else shooting, and I'm just like, I'm feeling like the lowest. I feel like shit, and so I didn't have meal talk, and that's why I appreciate where it is like people like Camel Talk to be able to say I failed. This is how I'm going to take care of this.
Yeah.
And so I get back and I get back to base, and I swear I'm still learning I'm at a I don't hate this motherfucker anymore. But my new platoon sergeant I'm gonna call him Van Sweater. I literally if we would have deployed again, I would have put a bullet in him because he led by fear and intimidation. He didn't I don't think he really knew what he was doing. And so and I could look at this whole thing at one of two ways. One, my leadership failed me, which I got, homies that would say, hey man, they let you fail, man. They literally let you fail. And because at the same time I'm all like, how the fuck? Because what they ended up doing was I got 4 blocked on my NCOER and I got barred from reenlistment. Thank God they didn't take my section. But I'm all like, what happened to his NCOER? I could always take that route. Like, this motherfucker, this is my first line supervisor. How the fuck you gonna make sure that you as a first line supervisor, if everybody certifies, that's a bullet on your NCOER. And so, but and then on the other hand, I take account for 100% accountability. It was all on me because I didn't take the time to learn my job. I didn't take the time to get into I didn't even know really how to structure my section in a way that was going to set me up for success. And so once again, bitch ass Obama was in office. And so if you got at that time, because this is 2011, and they were literally cutbacks, man. They was cutting
big time.
They were making married soldiers pay for MREs out in the field, taking that shit out of their check. And they had a mandate come down that if you got a 4 block on the NCOER, you were getting barred from reenlistment. Like, this is my first 4 block, mind you. And but thank God they didn't take my section. I got a new section, switched some things around. I got a gunner. I got a good gunner. I had another guy that came from he had done a deployment in Afghanistan. Shout out to Rob. And I got a new driver, white boy named Schuster. Shout out to him. And I was all like, you know what? And I humbled myself, and I told my soldiers, I was like, look, I fucked up. I skipped some steps along the way in my development, but I was like, you know what? We're gonna learn together. And so, literally, leading up to section certifications again, we were in that motor pool damn near every Saturday training for 2 hours. And I was like, yo, we're gonna lock in. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn your job. You're gonna learn my job. You're gonna learn how to be a chief. I'm gonna learn how to be you, and I'm still learning how to be a chief. Where I'm asking other chiefs, hey, how do you do this? Picking their brains. I'm taking my section, and I'm like, hey, can we shadow y'all while y'all doing crew drills? And crew drills are like the bread and butter of artillery because you're doing the same thing over again until it's second nature. Mm-hmm. And so we came back. We had some of the highest. We came back for certifications, and we came to we certified, and that was hands down the proudest moment of my Army career was, taking. I have the video I put up from time to time of my first round chiefing as a section chief, and I busted my ass, man, and I was
That's
eventually,
good.
yeah, I was eventually, man, I shot them, and then that's when I literally fell in love with artillery. I got that damn. I swear, it's like artillery is like if you take damn near peak masculinity, put it on a spoon, cook that thing up, inject it in your veins, and that high is just it's unmatched, man. I've been trying to chase that high for damn 13 years, dog. That's
Yeah.
how. Yeah, so we certified, and it was just
That's good, man.
that was like one of my best. That last year and a half in my Army was when but I'm going through divorce at the same time, so I'm able to lock in, and so we certified, and then afterwards we had this thing, and eventually I was able to re-enlist. But by that time, because what happened was they had this thing called Top Gun competition, and that's like where our battalion, every howitzer section, it's like a I guess for y'all maybe like a best medic
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
situation, and so we I think it was like 16 guns, and it's a straight up competition, man. That's why us artillery chiefs we crazy like 13 series, we crazy as fuck anyways. Fisters frontline. We got in artillery, you got the forward observers, the 13 foxes, and then you got the brain, they're the eyes, and then you got the brains, the deltas, they're the brains where they send us the coordinates and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
then bravos that shoot it. And us chiefs, we're like, especially us black ones, like we're like Deion Sanders, man. Is that level? Because the characters, like I remember as a private, we had a chief name. We called him Stunner. He was from he was from Miami. He used to rock a gold tooth and he used to play Jam Pony Express all the time. But yeah, man, that level of confidence was just once you own your shit. Oh man. And the crazy thing, once you learn the rules of artillery, you learn how to cut corners. Because the thing is, you're trying to be the fastest one out of the two. Because your infantry brothers, we would say, your grunts are dying, grunts are dying. You gotta get these rounds out. And so yeah. And so we end up having Top Gun. I got third. Yeah, I kind of rearranged my section again.
Yeah.
It goes in the PT skills test. We had the highest PT average in the battery,
Hmm.
and everybody, we go to skills test, and then we go out and we're doing Top Gun, and for the longest time, we were in first place, and then the motherfucker thing that tripped me up of all things is degraded operations. I know my bad to my fellow redlegs, man, because they'll be like, how the fuck did you degrade? Because degraded ops are because in mechanized you do everything digital, like everything's digital, whereas degraded ops is manual. And I was like, once again, I skipped them steps, man. And so I ended up doing but we got third in Top Gun, and that's such a proud moment, coming from getting decertified less than a year, and then coming back and being third out of 16 guns in the battalion.
Yeah. Damn. Well, I mean, that's good, dude. Like you ended at like a high note, you know?
Yeah,
And it takes a lot that you owned up to it too. Like, hey, yeah, I know I didn't know shit, but I'm gonna do as a leader. I'm gonna train myself and then train y'all to get this shit going.
yeah, yeah.
Big time. But okay, so when you got out though, like, did you know you were ready, or what led it? Like,
It
what was the
was
ultimate decision?
it was all right. So I still was gonna try to make a career. I when that whole thing with the 4 block happened, I was trying to be sneaky beforehand and re-enlist to go to Fort Polk to be an OC. That's how bad I wanted to get out of Carson. I was down to go to Fort Polk. Uh, and
Yeah,
so,
that is bad.
but to be a cushy OC, but that didn't happen. And then when I thought I was gonna stay in, once I was able to re-enlist, I was thinking about going psyops because I was like, once again, I'm like psyops look cool. I'm tired of this regular army. I wanted to do south side. I ended up taking the D lab, which is the
Yep. The
language.
language.
Yeah. And I scored well on that, and I was getting ready for everything. But then I think it was a combination of things. I ended up going home on block leave, and I was around my kids, and I was like, damn, I've been in almost 7. I've been away overseas for about over half of that. my kids growing up, I want to see them, and then it was a moment. We did a brigade run, slow as fuck, and my bruh, super slow. If you already know, you know.
Yeah.
I fell out of the brigade run because I have been having back issues leading up to that.
Yeah.
Literally, I fell out of a brigade run, and I'm like, oh, something's wrong. And I ended up getting an MRI, and I had two degenerate discs in my back. And once that moment, I was like, well, I can't lead from the front anymore. I was like, I could finesse this thing.
You could.
You know you can
You reclass, dude.
Yeah, reclass. Yeah, I could
Supply
something like that. But it was like, you know what, at that point, and then I saw the Army changing. Like I felt it's like it was that shift.
Yeah, what year is this?
2011. And so literally
that's when we got Chandler, dude.
This is why I have such a strong disdain for Obama, because I was literally going to work, and because of cutbacks, I'm having one soldier, and we're doing the work of like 10.
Yep.
And I'm doing private work, and I'm a staff sergeant, man. I'm like, nah. So, and then one time we were doing a run, and I was singing the cadence about napalm sticking the kids, and I had a sergeant first class tap me on the shoulder. He was like, hey, Yancey, yeah, we can't sing that no more. And I was like, oh, I see where this is going. I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I saw where the military was going. They were introducing. We heard rumblings of women coming into combat jobs, and I was like, I don't want to be around for this, man. No disrespect to them, because I already know, they can do the job. But at the time where we were being a hyper masculine super thing, a boys club, we did during my first deployment. My medic, she was a woman. Shout out to Cordis. She was hanging with the best of them. But I wasn't trying to. I was like, I don't. The beautiful thing about at that time was it was easy. You tell a dude what to do, he gonna do it. And I had heard all these horror stories coming out of support units. Leaders smack. Not too high up.
Yeah.
Just right at the first front line. Cats getting caught up. What happens. I was like, I just don't want to be a part of this. And all it was a culmination of events. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go. When my back messed up, I'm like, you know what? I know, and that leadership that I was dealing with, I was like, you know what? I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I know it can't be this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I started looking at the option because I knew I didn't want to work. So I was like, I looked in the school job, and because I don't know if they still got it where you can get out 90 days earlier from your ETS time because of your school, and I plagiarized some dates because my brigade was in Afghanistan for the SFAT mission, and so my sergeant major, he was over there, so we literally had to paperwork going back and forth for him to sign, and they put the wrong dates on there, and so I was like, pencil whip that joker real quick, and it was time to. I did my 7. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I knew I could feel the shift. This is why I tell soldiers, and they be like, you crazy, dog, when I say it. But I'm like, you feel a shift as you're getting out. They're like, all right. It's like Uncle Sam's like, dog, you don't want me no more after all I did for you, baby.
Yeah.
I brought you from nothing.
Yeah, it's true though. I like it when senior leaders feel it, because they're like, damn, I did all this for the Army. I'm like, dude, they don't get
they like athletes. They like them football players. Like, oh, this I gave to the game, baby, and you gonna do me like this?
Yes.
No. And I'm like, yeah, I started feeling it, and I'm going through because they had me in the field all the way up to I was ready to go, and I would go to transition classes, but I wasn't in it, man. I was like, not really taking it serious because all they do is just tell you how to write a resume, all right, how to interview, how to clean up real nice. And they're like, oh, well, your leadership skills are transitioned nicely, but they don't teach you how to be like, oh, I'm at this civilian job and I want to choke my damn supervisor out because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they don't tell you about that stuff, which I struggle with later. But I was ready to get out, man.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Was the transition like when you got out? Like, did it hit you hard?
Yeah. I'll admit. Like, well, I eased my way back into Gen Pop.
Yeah.
Like I eased my way into because I was fortunate. I would see like soldiers that would get out right away and try to work, and they were struggling. And mind you, this is 2013, man. This is not, you know, it's not where it is now. And I'm very thankful because I watch a lot of history documentaries, and World War One. I look at that, and they came home. They didn't come home with shit. Like you look at the World War One, it's all like, dog, it's crazy stuff. They ain't come on anything. But I came home and I was broke. I was broke as fuck when I got out. I had to save some money. At the end of my lease, I was crashing on my homegirl, her extra room, and I ended up moving back to my grandma's house. She let me stay with her rent free while my benefits, got back up. So I was able to get my disability. I think I got rated at 80%. Thank God. Oh my goodness. What saved my ass was I went to the PA. He was a black guy. Shout out to him. It's I don't know the black soldiers understand. We gotta the army, man. We had to look out for each other. And so he was all like, "Hey, I can't tell you certain things, but I'm gonna bring in this nurse." And so this black nurse, she's like, an auntie, and she was all like, "Hey, baby, um, you you need to take care of yourself because they're not going to take care of you when you get out. So you need to go to these appointments and tell them what the fuck wrong with you because you're hiding everything so you can go into the next appointment." And we come from the era where we used to joke like if you go to behavioral health, it's like going to the wizard. Like you ain't got no heart, you ain't got no brain, you ain't got no
Right.
courage. And so I started going to behavioral health and go to my appointments, get everything, stuff like that. And so I got my 80% once I got out. I feel like, Skippy, if you ever seen Dead Presidents, man, I was getting my disability check once a month. I was getting my school check once a month. And I got hooked up. I had unemployment. And so what they told me was I went to the unemployment office and the dude, he hooked me up. He was like, "Hey, bro, go across the river to East Illinois because you're a transient worker considered. Go across the river. They have a higher unemployment rate. And so instead of I end up getting $2,000 a month because of that versus like $600 within Missouri."
Yeah.
And so, bro, I was banking, dog.
Yeah, it was better than being in.
My first year out, I was making as much as I was at E6
Shit.
with no soldiers.
Damn.
But everything, the psychological part started hitting me because, and these are the things that you live long enough, you can see, history repeating itself. Because once you get out, everything slows down. You ain't got no missions, you ain't got no soldiers, you ain't got, everything, and it's just you and your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a dark, dangerous place to be. And but nobody was there because I had to get away. I needed to because one thing I didn't want to do was being one of the damn veterans. And I love y'all. I'm just glad y'all ain't killing yourselves. But I did not want to be that vet bro that still. It's like them
Yep.
varsity blues that football player that was still trying to hang out with the high school guys.
Oh yeah.
So I know I did not want to be that, and so I had to get as far away as possible. But at the same time, I didn't have nobody to like tell me how to live, how to be a regular person because you're not regular.
Yeah.
You went and for 7 years of my life, they trained me how to kill people. They trained me how to kill people up close. They trained me how to kill people from a medium distance, from a far distance, from 20 miles away, with all kinds of weapon system. And it's all like, how do you turn? How you turn that switch off, man? Like,
Mm-hmm. And it's go too.
oh, all the time.
Yeah, like we said, you're keeping your mind busy with all just either a field problem, something, right? There's always something going on, dude.
And so yeah, I'm out. I ain't got no skill. I mean, no, really transferable skills. So I went back to school. I was like, all right, let me, let's go back to school. That's an easy check. I've been to school before. I'm smart. It's easy. So I went to community college, still figuring it out. Went through that. I ended up, I moved to Atlanta. Went to school there. got 2 degrees, ended up getting a master's in social work. But at the same time, I'm dealing with PTSD, man. I gotta, I started taking a liking to the drugs, messing around, coke, Molly, shit, coke, Molly, dog. If don't, hey, it's woo. That was my favorite drug, man. But fortunately for me, and then alcohol. But fortunately for me, and what's crazy about it, I noticed the PTSD early after my first deployment because I came home, I got drunk, and then I'm in my battles bathtub crying, talking about I want to go back to Iraq. And so I'm dealing with the substance abuse, but what saved me is I have this high, like I gotta succeed. I gotta go above and beyond. And so with drugs, you gotta set aside time for that. Like I need, like if I'm gonna mess around with this Molly, I need 3 days so I can recover. And so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna get. Fortunately, I never took anything that would take me over the edge.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I finished school. I got my master's. I interned at the VA. I encourage veterans like go volunteer at the VA because you'll understand. Like I got a lot of grace for the VA because I've been on the inside, and you'll see how bad it is for a lot of us veterans.
Yeah.
TikTok does not capture what a lot of us veterans are going through, man. Go get in them trenches and you see veterans just literally in their room, in their apartments in the dark and can't even be outside, man. They going through it.
Yeah. Big
The
time.
veterans. I work in the homeless department, dealing with that. Because you're like, how can you be home? I'm like, no, the military teaches you how to be dependent on Uncle Sam. You don't,
Yep.
you get out, everything's on you. You don't got
Yeah.
nobody. Hey, you're cat 3 on dental. You're this on that, and you're just literally just waiting. Like you're like a sim waiting for some direction.
Yeah, big time. That's a good way to put things, man. I mean, for sure. For sure. But yeah, dude, we're coming up on the end of this podcast, dude, and I know that you had a lot of experience, right? And I don't know if you can agree with me about how like past trauma comes up on your new trauma and stuff like that, but like what would you tell veterans right now that are going through a lot of struggles, man?
Psychedelics, baby.
Uh,
Expand your mind, my brother.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not for everybody, but it was definitely for me. And what they're doing, because I think there's a documentary on Netflix where they got some Navy SEALs going through ibogaine treatment. And I remember afterwards, I'll send you the 60-minute special that I was in
Mhm.
about psychedelics. But what psychedelics have, I still, because, I don't know how they're going to treat. That's the thing I'm worried about with psychedelic therapy. How is this going to affect, soldiers, ratings and stuff like that? I mean, the PTSD is still there. It's still always going to be in the shadows. But this time I'm learning skills to, fight that motherfucker, man. You ain't finna, you learn a little jujitsu here and there.
Yeah.
But also it's like you learn, like, because once I got down here, I got linked up with a shaman, a medicine man. And so that's how I got introduced to Bufo, which is 5-MeO DMT, which is the toad that Mike Tyson talks about. And like, brother, like that thing, it's literally it takes you straight to God.
Yeah.
And it dissolves your ego. And so between the toad, ayahuasca, I've done peyote, combo is another thing that expels toxins. Yeah, all of them. And I just have this level of oneness. Like everybody is one. All this separation and that's another reason why I had to get away from the United States because the stuff I'm seeing on Mill Talk, on TikTok, and I'm all like, yo, and it's difficult for me for time because it's entertainment. Like it's just entertainment. Like that's all it is for me.
Yeah.
Scoop in, I know a little bit, but I don't be knowing the whole thing. And I'm all like, and also too, I look at things. I used to be a stand-up comedian for 3 years after I got out, just playing around with it. So, everything's, man, ain't nothing off limits on that stage.
Yeah.
And so just seeing the stuff that I see, and it's like, being with psychedelics and all that stuff, it don't matter. It's like none of your degrees don't matter, your rank, everything that you're attached to, it doesn't matter. It's like Mike Tyson talked about all them championship belts. It don't matter. It's like everything is the present, and and I think the thing that, and I'm gonna land this plane. The thing that I see when I see they say let it, let the military go. It's like, no, you're not gonna let it go because it's a part of me, but it doesn't have to be
Mm-hmm.
all of me. And it's like I don't have that. And when I say like let it go, it's more of the emotional attachment.
Yep.
Man, people could diss the army all day. They could talk about what I don't give a fuck. Like somebody can call me a baby killer right now, right? And I'm like, all right, well, this is how you feel.
Yeah.
All that is a reflection of something. I trigger something in you that you feel about this. I'm not taking it personal. I'm all like, all right. And I think that's a problem. People taking things. I encourage people to read Four Agreements where it says, don't take things personal. And so that's what's helped me. Just being, with my, journey to psychedelics is all like, I don't. Everything happens how it's supposed to. My brothers, unfortunately, that took themselves out. That was part of their journey.
Yep.
They were supposed to do that. And yeah, psychedelics, baby.
Yeah.
I'm a huge proponent.
All right. I got two more, dude. I know you watch my shit, dude. So
I got
so
you.
give me dad advice, dude.
Oh man, I can tell you what not to do. Unfortunately, hey, shout out to my babies. I wasn't a present father. Like I was not, even when I was physically there, I wasn't there mentally because I just, the war just. I say in one of my books is I traded my humanity for a rifle.
Yeah.
And so when I see certain things and people are like, oh, you're crossing the line with this, and I'm all like, well, Uncle Sam said there are no lines. You could literally go up in somebody's house and harass them over some allegations. You could snatch them up. You could do all this. Man, this stuff. That's why I have an issue with a lot of the stuff on Milltop where these folks get on their high horses, and I'm like, and they feel like they're better than people. I'm like, motherfucker, you know what we was doing?
Yeah.
I was there. What we was doing. Especially with these soldiers. I was like, bro, you know what? We was doing stuff like that, but I wasn't. I wasn't there. So I will say, if you're a dad, just be present as possible. Take time, get to know your kids. If they play Fortnite with them. If they're into some super nerdy, whacked out stuff, be the nerd with them. Learn. Get to know your kids because they're miniature versions of you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Last question, dude.
Marriage.
Yep. Marriage.
Oh man, this is it. Oh man, I got a good one, man.
You prepped. All right. Let's hear it, dude.
Yeah. I got married in January of this year. Yeah. I'm shout out to my starter, my first wife. I'm telling you, at some point it's gonna make sense, baby. Like I told you, I'm with these books, with everything I'm doing. One of the things I'm gonna hit this lick, and I have envision of having a publisher's clearinghouse and giving a $500,000 check to my ex-wife because when I got home from Iraq the first time, she was all like, we were arguing, and she was all like, I wish you would have died over there. And I don't know if anybody has
No,
seen.
I don't mean to laugh, dog, but damn,
No.
dude,
It's fun. It's funny now. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie Dead Presidents, but where he came and he snapped, and I had one of them moments, and I blanked out, and when I came to, I'm choking her like she Bart Simpson, and fortunately her sister pulled her off of me, but I was that's where I was, man. I was a killer. I was like, I ain't care, because they taught us it don't matter if they 5 or 55, you smoke them motherfuckers. They trying to you trying to go home, and so I had that mindset, and so I want to do right by her and my kids, and like take the public clearinghouse check, and here go the money. I'm sorry that I couldn't be a great husband or father at the time in my development. That was a less evolved version of me. Here you go. Hopefully the money, it's smooth. I mean, money ain't everything, but at least, I know because when my dad died, we got a big ass check. And I'm like, thank you, Pops. But now with my wife, I say get up out the country. I don't know if you haven't already. I feel like that I had to get a woman that wasn't have that American mindset. It's a wonderful thing. I love my Mexican wife. She's super dope, and I will say this time around, um, have what's the best one, man?
You know what I say is be married, dude.
Read because it's still gonna have you're still learning. Yeah, the best thing my dad told me was like you're taking two people's history and you merging them together and you're coming up with new history. So create some new memories together, some new histories.
Yeah.
And then even when because your woman is it's going to sound like nagging at some point. It's just that's when watching your live yourself like, hey, you gotta make sure you lay in that pipe on a regular and
Yeah, the reset button.
yeah, the reset button. Make sure she feels special and also recognize that she's your partner. Like she's just like you might be the platoon sergeant that's your PL. That y'all in the fight together, and so you shouldn't be attacking each other. You need to be working together to attack the things that are gonna, because your marriage is gonna face trials and tribulations. But it's like if you're on the same page, there we go. Be on the same page with each other. When you're on the same page, then you're locked and loaded.
For sure. Well, I appreciate this episode, bro, and the insight on the psychedelic realm.
Before I gotta plug these books again, man.
Hey, okay, go ahead. Plug your social,
right.
your book.
Bam.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so you got Red Lake Volume 3, 2, and 1 on Amazon, narrated by Forrest Job. So that's pretty much my alter ego narrating my life. And it's on YouTube. So if you don't got time to sit down and read a book, even though it's a great read, I know I'm biased, but it's you can listen to the audio version. And that motherfucker is, and I know I'm biased, but the responses I've been getting from other people, they're like, this is it. Like it's because it's the American dream from a perspective of somebody that was got to a point where they got from the bottom. And like I said, my shit's better than freaking JD Vance's, dog. Man, bro, he was an admin Marine, man. I love him. Hey, I'm sorry, I love y'all to death. Y'all support. Hey, we all one team, one fight. And when it comes to all these artillery shit, man, we different. And so I got that. What else? I make music as well, so I got a bunch of music. If you look Forrest Job, so Forrest with 2 R's, JLB like in the Bible. I've produced a few projects. And then I got this art out there. So if you want to check out my art, also I have a mental health kind of brand, and I don't know, it's on the side. I'm trying to figure it out. I've actually developed a mental health workbook because I really got to a point with social work. I was like, this is getting too stressful and not paying me enough. I need to go. And so I'm working on a mental health workbook for male veterans and then service members with that. So I got that. I'm trying to think else. Let me see. I teach yoga as well. So mindset, yoga, mindfulness, all that stuff like that. And I be putting that bipolar to good use, man. I'll be using the highs. So I got all these things out. So yeah, check that stuff out. If you know somebody, pass it around. If you need to, and that's one thing I tell soldiers, like document your story. I wish I would have documented more of it, so I ain't gotta think too hard about what I went through. But you could take your story, and you don't have to put it out. But bro, every once in a while I get a little royalty check on some shit that I ain't had to work for, and I've also done a screenplay for it. So I plan on pitching it. If it doesn't pick up by a studio, I plan on making a movie through AI. Man, the sky's the limit, man. Actually, you know what? There are no limits, as I've learned from my psychedelic experience. There's no limits. There's no walls. There's no doors. There's no nothing. It's nothing.
Yeah, big time. I appreciate the episode, bro. Do you have anything for me, man?
What's the? I don't want to get you.
Here we go.
What's the wildest thing that you saw at Sam Houston? Because I've heard some stories about y'all medics.
Yeah, we're my company. Shout out. 2012 232 Charlie Company. We were known as the cocaine company. So we actually stopped the off-post stuff. Like it was crazy. But my favorite story, I've actually never told the story publicly, but I've told it to my friends, my wife. When I was whatchamacallit? Oh, forgot. I think it was July 4th because I just had a memory pop up, man. And we went to Chili's, bro. We were freaking doing a thing, dude. You know what I mean? We're all phase 5. We're freaking in civilian clothes. We're drunk, and they're like, "Oh, let's go to the strip club." So we go to the strip club down the street, man. And then, dude, this strip club was wild. I was 18. They're like, "Are you gonna consume?" And I was like, "Can I?" And they're like, $20 to come in. I was like, "All right, cool." So I paid the $20 to come in. And then I'm in the back, doing the VIP dance. And then one of my buddies runs in. He's like, "Hey," and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yo, we got bed check in like 20 minutes." And I was like, "Oh shit." So then like I run out, and then they're like, "Oh, we can't get an Uber, we can't get a taxi." So then there I go. I see a stripper just off shift, dude, right? Hey, and I was like, "Hey, I'll give you some money if you could take us back." She's like, "How much you got?" And I was like, "I got $100." So then all 6 of us pack in a car, her car, and then her registration's expired. So imagine trying to get through the gate, right? Hey, and then we get to the Fort Sam, and we get to the gate, and then fucking the fucking Air Force security forces, they're giving a hard time and all that stuff. And I told him, I was like, straight up, I was like, "Bro, come on." I was like, "We have to get to bed check, dude." And I was like, "We got 2 minutes." And he's like, "All right, y'all just go." So we go, and we get to our barracks, dude. And then I run right past the fucking the NCO on shift that was doing checks. And dude, he didn't snitch on me. He didn't freaking say anything. I was like, "Damn, thank God." That would have been bad, like when
Right, right, right.
you do curfew and stuff. So that was one of my favorite moments like that I had when I was over there, man. It was crazy.
Okay. Now I ask one last one. What would you say in your home army career? What was your proudest moment?
Proudest moment?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I would say bouncing back, bro, because I didn't really have like a giant alcohol addiction or a drug addiction. Mine was like fast food, right? So like a lot of people don't understand, like especially American food, right? Like American
Right.
food is like very like poisonous and it's addicting. So I when I got back, I was always trying to chase the high, like you know what I'm talking about, and
Mm.
I couldn't. I just started feeding myself, and I busted tape, failed my PT test, man, and I was like, "Fuck, they're gonna chapter me out." And I just got to Alaska, and I
Okay.
bounced back, dude. I got promoted the next year, and then I made 6 and 7. So I bounced back, and I left on a high note, and I think that's
Gotcha.
one of my most proudest moments,
When did
dude.
you get out?
2020.
Okay, okay.
So I
COVID.
did
Okay.
12 to 2020.
Okay, cool, cool. About to
Yeah,
say,
yeah. So that was my proudest moment, man, for sure.
proud of you, bro. Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on, dude. And Lester Yancey, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into this episode. Don't forget we drop episodes every Wednesday. Hit us up on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and follow all of our social medias on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Leave us a comment, like, share, and thank you for all the support you've done so far. And with that, we'll catch you in the next episode.